Oh, Chibi. Chibi, stop. Hey. She's over here trying to help Levi. Come on. Come on in here. Come on. Is it time?
So I learned.
Oh, sorry.
No, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Simon. Go ahead.
I just learned that today was the 25th anniversary of the special editions being released.
The special editions of what?
Hey!
Hey, Dee. Hey, Colin.
Hey, everybody.
Simon was telling us something about special editions of what?
Star Wars.
Oh,
25th
Star Wars.
anniversary.
Oh.
Ah.
I'm just
Now-
stunned by Simon's picture.
Yeah.
I know,
Yes.
right? So, like, the first thing I noticed was America's ass, and then I saw the picture, and I'm like, oh, gosh, of course, I know who this is. How are you guys doing?
And not a new person. I was like, oh, who's this person?
Did you make it to live, Arturo? Are we live?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay, we are live already. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Been busy watching movies?
Yeah, a little bit. I actually did catch up for a while when I was going to Redbox, and I caught up a lot.
Oh, yeah, you kept posting about a bunch of movies you were watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually was excited. I just got I'm really late. I got my first Blu-ray player.
Oh, wow. Well, welcome to the world of Blu-ray.
I know. Now that 4K is out, I got.
Oh yeah, you're a little bit behind, Colin.
Yeah, I'm
4K.
pretty late. I'm pretty late, but it's cool. I'm gonna get Dune on Blu-ray.
Oh, of course, yes. I could see you doing that. For sure. So, Dee, I know we tend to run long.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get to the point where you can't, if you got to, duck out, just don't hesitate to jump in and interrupt us at any time.
Okay.
You know how it is with us.
Yeah, definitely know how it.
So, what was your very favorite Sundance film for this year? I only saw 2. You saw a lot.
Yeah, it was kind of an accident, but I would say the best, at least as far as me, and I didn't expect it to be, but I would say probably Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. That was probably the one that shocked me.
I don't even remember what that one was supposed to be about.
Yeah, it was with Emma Thompson, and I can't remember the other actors'
name. Yeah, Emma. Yeah, okay. I saw that. I was focusing mostly on horror type suspense sort of things. I wanted to see Speak No Evil, but I talked myself out of that one.
Oh, I was gonna say that's the other one that got me.
Okay, yeah, I toyed with the idea. I ended up just choosing 2, Piggy and Watcher. Those are the ones.
Yeah, Piggy was one I wanted to see, but then it was already had so many. You can't, it's hard to.
Yeah, I know. It's like only so many tickets you can show. I mean, it's not cheap.
Right.
So it was like very selective. Anyway, okay. Yeah.
Dee, did you see Neptune Frost?
What is that?
Oh, it's a movie that was in Sundance.
No. See, anytime you bring up stuff like this, Simon, I don't know if you're like, if it's something like
anticipation of something.
I'm a little suspicious.
About Ray to be said.
I'm suspicious.
Brought to you by.
No, I didn't watch that. What's it about?
It is a sci-fi movie. It's like it's kind of like a low-budget Black Panther, I guess you would say, except with like the superhero bit.
No.
But it is written and directed by Saul Williams, and I'm a huge fan.
Neptune Frost?
Yep.
Oh, I actually remember that. That was one of the ones I was interested in seeing, but
it's a musical. That's why I talked myself out of it.
Oh,
it's a musical.
It says it's a musical science fiction film.
Yeah.
I'm like,
is there a lot of music in it? Or is it?
I didn't see it. I don't think Dee didn't see it either.
I thought. Oh, Simon, did you not see it? You just read about it?
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard about it.
Okay.
I'm a big Saul Williams fan, so
yeah,
I reckon it'll be like a sort of Hamilton kind of thing.
Right.
Cool.
Oh, I don't know. I just saw music one kind of tuned out. So.
Do we want to go through the box office hits?
Yes, probably. I know. Here we are. We're getting distracted by.
I was going to say, okay, number 1, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
For 2001, of course, obviously.
Yeah, that was number 1.
Well, I know
not surprisingly, right?
Sorry, Arturo.
So I was just gonna say, it's funny. So, thinking back on that film, you know how CGI for some of the creatures was kind of already starting to become a thing, and I guess if you look back at it now, it's so outdated for 2001.
Yeah. Some of the stuff is outdated, like the Quidditch scenes. It's like, oh,
or the
that's
beast.
a little painful to watch.
You know what? To be honest, I wouldn't mind going back and watching that film just for that nostalgia.
I loved the Harry Potter movies. I really did. I enjoyed all of them. Yeah. I remember it's a big deal. It was a big deal. And I remember in 2007 when the final book came out, also around the same time that the 5th movie came out, they accidentally sent the final book out to people that had pre-ordered. And so I got it like 2 weeks ahead of time.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so then they're like, they sent out messages, please don't read the book. I'm like, too late. I've already started. What are we talking about?
Well, I was going to say, the composer for the song was John Williams.
John Williams, yeah.
And the score in there is so good. And the guy that made and the guy that made the poster, he made posters for Indiana Jones.
Drew Struzan?
Drew Struzan, yeah.
Yeah, he did that. So he kind of had like these two people. He had like these two people that combined into Harry Potter, and you have a pretty good series there. And then number 2 is Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
I was gonna say that it's kind of interesting that like the 2 biggest fantasy franchises of our day came out that year. They both started that year.
Yeah.
Shrek is number 3.
Oh, that was huge.
There's 3.
Well, I'm seeing Monsters as
Monster Inc. is number 3 and 4, and Shrek is 4.
Are you looking at the Wikipedia?
Yeah.
That's weird because mine says Monster Inc. is number 3 and then Shrek is 4.
I'm looking at Box Office Mojo, which is domestic.
Okay. I think so what it shows on Wiki is worldwide.
Okay, worldwide.
So yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, now Shrek is kind of weird. Like for me, I kind of only saw bits and pieces of the first one. I never the only one I actually truly watched all the way was the second one. The third one.
Second one was the best, I think.
Well, you have to admit, though, Shrek started in 2001, started a franchise. It was a pretty big animated thing for the time.
Shaolin Soccer is an awesome movie. I don't know if we'll talk about it more later.
I don't think I have not seen that.
Have any of you guys seen it?
I haven't. I don't know about it.
It's really good. And I don't know if his follow-up movie, the filmmaker of the Shaolin Soccer follow-up movie, I might say it wrong, Kung Fu Hustle, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is an awesome movie. And
it's
Shaolin
pronounced
Soccer,
Kung Fu Hustle.
yeah. Shaolin Soccer was his previous movie. So if you know about Kung Fu Hustle, if you like that kind
I've heard of that, but I've never
Kung Fu
watched
Hustle is like a great movie. Action comedy, it's like so good. And Shaolin Soccer is it's not as good, but it's good. It's funny. It's good action comedy.
What's it about? Soccer? Because that automatically loses in.
Yeah, and he kind of uses Shaolin Soccer. He uses martial arts to be good at soccer, and there's like physical humor and goofy stuff too. It's lighthearted. It's really they're like above average films. They're really. I think Stephen Chow maybe was the guy, but yeah.
So yeah, that's
then Monster Inc. obviously made it on the list.
Yeah, well, and then Shrek, and then Ocean's 11, which I've never.
Wait a minute, I don't know if I've seen this one.
No, you haven't. I haven't seen it. You know what?
Really, that's a classic.
Yeah, I know. It's a okay. Here's a couple reasons why. It's a heist movie. I'm not crazy about heist movies, so I'm just kind of like, But also, it's George Clooney, and I'm about George Clooney, so I just not interested. But I know that it's highly regarded from what I understand, and I think in one of those Ocean's movies, the same guy who played in Brotherhood of the Wolf was in one of those movies, like where he was doing this.
Castle. when he's doing the acrobatic.
Yeah.
Vincent Cassel's awesome. He's that French dude.
I like him.
Really acrobatic.
Wait. Who's a good actor?
Yeah, good actor, confident, cool.
Okay, so Arturo, you saw this movie.
Yeah, I know it.
He's the dude with the arm.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. In Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Yeah.
If nobody's seen Brotherhood of the Wolf, I don't want to give spoilers. So that's
I was going to bring that up. What Brotherhood of the Wolf was actually a really good foreign movie from 2001. It is actually based on a true thing that did happen over there, which is pretty crazy. But everything around the movie is fictionalized. You know what, Sin? What was it called? What did they call this sort of thing? I keep forgetting.
The Beast of, oh gosh, it's a French word.
Yeah, it's a French word.
It's a French word, and I can't speak French, despite watching Amelie.
Sacre bleu.
I can't speak French. Beast
with a French title, or?
No, the name of the movie was Brotherhood of the Wolf, but it's based on the Beast of Gévaudan, or whatever.
Gévaudan.
Yeah, I'll put it up in the chat.
Pretty much, the synopsis. True real life events, but there was this beast killing people in France.
They don't know what it was.
They don't even know what the thing was. Now they claim that they killed the thing, and apparently it killed about 100 people, which surprised me of how many people it killed.
Yeah, there's varying reports, but it wasn't like it just killed 1 or 2 people. It killed many people. It's and they don't know what it was.
The Beast of Galveston.
Yeah, it's a fascinating true life story. So they based the Brotherhood of the Wolf around this story.
That's cool.
And if you guys haven't seen it, I mean, I remember when it came out, I seen trailers for it, and I just remember the beginning. They had these hats. The 2 guys have these hats and these collars of their coats that come up to here, and I was like, this is a strange looking movie. What is this?
It's 1700s clothing.
Yeah, because it takes place in the 1700s, and it's there's kung fu stuff going on in it because Mark Dacascos is in there, and so he does a lot of fighting. He's all into that type of stuff. It's just a really good. He plays a Native American that is brought over by his French buddy, and they're there to investigate this beast that's killing all these people, and so they stumble upon this big conspiracy, and
you have this nice beautiful lady
women, that played by what's her name, Monica Bellucci, Vincent Cassel's wife at the time.
Yeah.
And so have you seen it, D?
Oh, no. No, I haven't seen it. I know the name, and I know who's in it, but just when you mentioned Monica Bellucci, I remembered her and Vincent Cassel together.
Yeah, they were in there together. They were in a few movies together, but I love that movie. It's my favorite foreign language film.
Yeah, the
English dubbing actually isn't too bad, so that's what we stuck with when we watched it, was the English dub. Right. So that's not in the top 10, but
it was better than the Battle Royale's dubbing.
Oh gosh,
the dubbing in that wasn't, even though it's got really good, those voice actors that were in some animes. They're good voice actors. It's just, it seemed like the dub didn't work right.
I think it didn't help that the acting was a little over dramatic too.
Yeah.
In that movie. Okay, we're getting off track.
Brotherhood of the Wolf. I would recommend that 2001 movie. If you like history mixed with conspiracy.
Some action, fighting. Is it, the CGI is a little dated, when they show the creature. That's probably, for me, one of the main sort of weaknesses about the film, but it's certainly not enough to it's not enough to detract from my enjoyment. I thought it was a really, really good movie.
And then there was, number 6 was Pearl Harbor, which I only saw the attack on Pearl Harbor scene / the bombing. Yes, to be honest, to this day I have not watched the whole thing. I just remember watching the attack scene.
But you skipped 4 and 5? Did we talk about?
Yes, we did, but briefly. We can go back into because 4 was Shrek, 5 was Ocean's 11.
Wait, no, I've got a whole different list.
Where are you looking?
On box office domestic for 01.
We got a conspiracy going on.
Okay. That's what.
Thanks in the chat. That's what everyone's looking at.
Okay, well, okay. So, what's your list then? Because you guys are looking at a whole different.
I'm looking at Wikipedia.
I know, but I was meaning.
I'm gonna go back to Wikipedia because I thought it's the I don't know why I'm here.
I just always kind of lean on the Wikipedia version because that includes worldwide.
I usually just click the first thing that pops up. So.
Oh.
Wait, I was gonna say, so yeah, the Pearl Harbor movie, I only saw like bits of it, never watched it all the way. I heard it's just like this romantic movie.
It's a little boring for me, a little sappy.
I think the main reason that I even watched it was because by the time I got around to watching it, 9/11 had already happened, and I was just feeling very angry and just wanted to watch something that showed like the U.S. whooping butt on people that had attacked us. That's what Pearl Harbor did, and so that's the main reason I watched it. And also because,
sorry.
I was just going to say because Apapa had served in the war.
Oh yeah.
So, there's kind of
one of our family members was at Pearl Harbor. But he was a cook.
Yeah, he was a cook, and he was on the base, not on one of the ships. And he said when the attack happened, he threw his pots and pans and ran like hell. That's the only thing I remember about his story.
Well, I could give the movie one credit. Like, I will say they did capture the attack well.
I haven't seen Gosford Park. They did capture the attack well.
I heard the 70s version is better, though.
Tora.
Yeah, Tora.
I haven't seen that one.
I heard that they actually got the Japanese to film their portion, and then we filmed our portion.
Wait, okay, I found the Wikipedia, but you still did skip 2 movies.
No, we talked about...
Rush Hour 2? A little bit about Monster Inc., a bit of Shrek.
Rush Hour 2, number 5?
No, it's not on my list. What in the heck?
This is Wikipedia, filmed in 2001.
Okay, I'm looking at 2001 in film.
Check the private chat for Streamlabs.
I'm not doing this on my own.
I don't see Rush Hour on them.
All of these links here.
What's going on?
I'm on a whole different page.
I'm in a thing. It says 2001 in film, and they have a whole list of years, and it doesn't even show Rush Hour 2 as being in the top 10.
Speaking of Rush Hour 2, we could talk about Rush Hour 2. That was another good sequel to the first Rush Hour.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's so funny. And what's that guy's name again? He was in the Fifth Element.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah, he is. Those are classics.
I love those buddy movies. They were fun.
It's like the same with like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Except
I think Rush Hour was funnier.
It's more funny.
Definitely more comedic. But Colin, I don't know what you were looking at.
I don't know. It says highest gross. It's list of 2001 box office #1 films in the United States Wikipedia.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
you're on the domestic list again.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So we're.
I'm going to say one thing is that I noticed there's a lot more kids movies, less adult movies, and that remember I was trying to make that a theme each year.
Yeah.
There's more because this year I would say there's 2 movies for adults in the top 10: Hannibal and Pearl Harbor, maybe Ocean's 11, and then the rest are either kids movies or family movies. But Jurassic Park 3, Mummy. That's not for adults. That's for kids and adults.
Planet of the Apes. Was that?
Yeah, I feel like that's for teens and adults, though. Those kind of things, they're I don't feel like they want teens to see them, so they kind of dumb it down. They're not trying to sell it to just adults the way Hannibal, an R-rated film is that you feel. Parents. I feel like adult films are I don't know if there's any adult films in the top 10 anymore. They're all that kind of corporate. Everyone can like it, even if you're 14.
Well, it depends. Joker was in the.
That's an adult film. I never saw it, but I know that is an adult film.
You haven't seen Joker?
No. What?
I don't. It's just something that I think, I don't want to. I don't like that kind of. It's a touchy subject matter where it's the mental illness kind of thing. I don't want to look down on them or look up to them. You know what I mean?
Well, the interesting thing about it, and I think the reason why it had such an impact on me, and I know this is not 2001 at all, but it took this classic villain, bad guy, and it made him a sympathetic character. You don't really feel like you're looking down on him. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't myself. I felt sorry for him because people were such assholes to him. And it makes you understand what it was that made him like snap. Yeah. Right. And so you feel sorry for him, but you're horrified at the same time at what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I probably will. If I'm in the mood, I'll watch it. Like, I had the option, I just wasn't.
It's pretty intense. It's intense though.
Really yeah. Spirited Away, yes, came out in 2001. I actually recently saw that
last year.
Yeah, last year, like the 20th anniversary.
First time. That's a weird one.
It is strange.
It is a little weird, but it's kind of like that magical weirdness.
It is magical weirdness, but all of his movies are weird. For me, that was kind of the hardest one to get into.
Really, that one.
They aired that thing a lot on Cartoon Network. I remember Saturdays, it's just constant.
Yeah, it's a classic. A lot of people like it.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, I think it still holds up for...
But the witch ladies with the small body and the big head, that was like... I don't like that art style. And then that big stinky creature that came in and got in the vest,
He kind of goes there sometimes, but
I guess he does.
I mean, there's other movies you probably would like when it comes to other things that let's see. I know the first one. I
wanted to see the
80s.
one with Christian Bale in it, but I wasn't able to.
Isn't that Howl's Moving Castle?
Yeah,
that one. Yeah, and then also I wanted to see Castle in the Sky.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were showing it at our theater because
we couldn't see it.
We only saw Spirited Away, and then stuff was going on. I think this was like, we were dealing with Scooter, and Chibi had her issues with her teeth, and then Scooter went downhill in December. Yeah, so it just didn't work out. So
was it Ghibli Fest?
Yeah. Did they have it in your area too?
Oh yeah, they've had it like for the past however many years. I actually went to it. I want to say was that. It's hard to tell time now with how everything is.
I know, right?
Yeah, but I think it was probably like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I saw.
Okay.
I think I saw, and some of these I had seen before, and then I had friends who hadn't seen it. So Spirited Away, we saw Spirited Away, we saw Howl's Moving Castle, and then My Neighbor Totoro. That was my first time seeing that one.
Yeah, they were playing that one too.
All of them,
wasn't really interested to see that one because it just looked kind of like. I don't know. That one looked a little boring. I wanted something with some intrigue and so I figured like Howl's Moving Castle would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
There is a scene where Christian Bale kind of does like that sort of rough voice like Batman.
Like Batman.
I'm like, oh, this is just before he did Batman.
Oh,
Batman. Right. Number 6, or no, sorry, number 7. The Mummy Returns.
I really liked it at the time. I did.
At the time, yeah.
We bought it and watched it a bunch. I remember them in the balloon and like the pyramid and just it's fun. That's a blockbuster. That's a fun blockbuster kind of thing. Before like Marvel movies every year we had like Mummy Returns and stuff like that.
That was when Dwayne Johnson first showed up, right? As the King in the second one. Okay.
The CGI doesn't really hold up today.
Oh yeah,
I think this is his movie debut.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
About that. Yeah, I remember people were kind of like making fun of him, like he's a wrestler. Like I don't think anyone expected he'd be number 1 in the world now.
Right.
Yeah, he's come a long way.
He's gone up. Sure. Yeah. But I liked. Okay, what interested me about the movie was just the historical setting, kind of that Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
I still think the first one's better. It's fun.
I remember at the time liking the second one better because it was more comedic. And I remember when we first saw it, we were at Buddy Indiana's, Arturo, and I don't remember if you watched it with us then no.
I remember seeing bits of it. I think some stuff kind of
like I had a sore throat. I felt like crap, and that movie kind of distracted me from how I felt, and it was really funny. But now I don't feel like it's as good as the first one.
Like, it's good, but not like, I think the first one's better.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
wish I'd seen it
on the first one because it had more of kind of like a horror spin to it. Like when I saw it, I was surprised by how dark and creepy so many aspects was. And so I think with the second, it kind of goes in more of a family friendly
comedic sort of
vibe, especially with the natural son and everything. So
yeah, that's true.
The number 8 was Jurassic Park 3, which I have not seen.
Man, I thought it was disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think looking back now, it's almost like it's not a bad movie, but it can't hold up to Jurassic Park. Like if it had been a different title, and just different characters and title, because it's just like an all right movie to watch. It's got dinosaurs and action, but like it's not anywhere near the level of
In the City,
or even the second one.
I don't even think Is that the one with Tia Leone in it?
It is.
Yeah. And Sam Neill returns, and Sam Neill's cool, but it just felt like, man, it felt forced. Even at the time, it felt forced.
Yeah, I think the issue is that with the first Jurassic Park, it's a very simple concept. It's these people trying to kind of play God and then control something that technically can't be controlled, and it kind of even gets horrorish in that film when they're in the midst of all this, and everything goes haywire and breaks free, and they're trying to survive in the midst of these creatures, coming at them from every which way. And so I think once you get away from that, there's really, not to say that there's nowhere to go, but a big part of that premise or that kind of the way the story plays out is what makes that first film so great, and that's why it still stands out. But the other two, it's about all the other things.
I couldn't tell you now if I even saw the second. I don't even remember. See that because that's how unimpressive I guess they are.
I was very surprised. See, when I watched the first Jurassic Park, I was very surprised that Samuel Jackson was in that movie.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten he was in there.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
But boy, I wasn't expecting that movie to go different places like the first one.
I think the second Lost World's pretty good. I think it's a lot better than 3. Yeah. One's a league of its own because Spielberg directed The Lost World and it has more action and it just feels better. I don't know. It's better to me at least, but it doesn't work. The story is kind of pointless and the characters they ruined Ian Malcolm, and so I don't know. I see it's like I wouldn't lump 2 and 3 together. I think it's like 1's perfect, 2 is a step down, and then 3 is another big step down. And then Jurassic World is okay. It's like I honestly think Lost World's better than Jurassic World. I think the second one is better. I think Jurassic World really
right.
Jurassic
I don't know. We're not talking about that now.
Is that the first one with Chris Pratt?
Right, and it's the second one was bad. The second
the second one wasn't great.
But even the first one, I was stoked, but it didn't have the tension of feeling like the dinosaurs are right there and about to get them. I felt like it just felt safe the whole time I was watching it. I'm like, they're not gonna they're not.
Have you read the book?
Oh yeah, the book is funny.
Scary.
When I was 8 years old when the movie came out, and my parents PG-13, you can't see it, people get eaten. And so they got me the book, and I read the whole book, in a week, 10 days at 8 years old. And I was like, there's some pretty violent stuff in here.
Yes. I was an adult when I read it, and it scared me. I was convinced there was a velociraptor under the bed.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get up to go to the bathroom because I was like, there's
good.
a velociraptor.
And honestly, I think that might be why I like Lost World the movie more too, because there's also a Lost World the book that Michael Crichton wrote, and I read that book.
Read that one.
The book is great. It's a lot different than the movie, but it's still some similar through lines that the movie had with the book.
Is it as good as Jurassic Park, the book?
I think it's a lot closer in quality than the second movie is, too, because it's Michael Crichton, and it's
right. I didn't realize until recently that he had written another one, a follow-up. I guess I just
The Lost World.
Yeah,
it's good. It's really good. And it's similar to the movie in that it's like Malcolm goes back to the island to like do something, and then there's like some mercenaries there that are trying to like get dinosaur eggs to take back, and so they kind of come across paths sometimes. But it's similar in that sense, and that's kind of like Malcolm and a crew go back to the island for some reason. They cross paths with the mercenaries and shit. But it's good. It's really, talking about it makes me want to read it.
Yeah, I feel like I would like to listen to the first one. Well, I read the first one, but I feel like I'd like to listen to the first one and then go on to the second one because everything will be real fresh in my brain. But yeah.
And then Planet of the Apes, number 9.
Real quick, I was gonna say the Lost World always stands out to me because I remember that scene where the little girl gets devoured by tiny little dinosaurs.
Compies. You mean the Russian dude? The Russian dude, right? The Russian guy.
No, I'm talking about the little girl.
A little girl.
A little girl gets eaten by the little ones?
Yeah, because she's feeding them, and then all of a sudden they all start like surrounding her.
Oh, early, like the first scene.
Yeah, and then her parents run, and you see them screaming as they find her.
Oh, that was in the second movie?
Yeah, I forgot about it. That's how.
Oh man!
Wow, I'm surprised they went there.
They did.
No wonder you never forgot it.
Colin, do you play Ark Survival Evolved?
No, I've not heard of that one.
No.
ARK.
Yeah.
ARK.
No, I just wondered because you called them compies.
Compies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they're in that game.
They're in that game. Oh no, no, that's what we called them back in the day. I think I was real into a lot of the Jurassic Park, like reading about it in magazines and shit. I know that they called them compies at some point. Some of that.
And yet the CGI holds up better in that movie than The Mummy Returns.
Yeah, it's true. What is a compy?
The little green dinosaur.
Okay.
The real name is really hard to say. It's like Compsognathus.
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 Okay.
Yeah. It's got a bunch of nouns in there.
And I actually remember they had a Jurassic Park kind of choose your own adventure book. I put it in the private chat.
Oh my goodness. I used to love those choose your own adventure books.
Indiana Jones. They had those.
Yeah, I had Indiana
We still
Jones
have them.
Indiana Jones ones, but I also had, oh wow. That's so funny. But I also had the books that were Choose Your Own Adventure. That was the actual label of the book, Choose Your Own Adventure.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Had a bunch of different ones. Those were fun.
Yes. Did you ever read, I put this in, I think I was in my Fear Street review because I talked about all the horror books I grew up reading as a kid. But The Mystery of Chimney Rock, that was one of my favorites, but it was scary.
Who wrote that?
The Mystery of Chimney Rock? Let me look it up.
Oh, Sashi put the name. That's the name, I guess.
Not this.
Is the Fear Street trilogy worth watching?
It's a copy.
So D has seen all 3 of them. Yeah, see, the first one fell kind of flat for me. But he says it gets better.
It does.
Okay. So I think I'll pick back up with it. I wasn't impressed with the first.
Since you are, into horror, and because I don't know, it would be interesting, and because you didn't like the first one like I didn't like it, it'd be interesting to see like how you feel about the other 2, especially the second in particular, because you talked about Sleepaway Camp and stuff like that.
That one interests me the most because it feels like it's going to be really atmospheric. Like it reminds me of those 80s camp slasher movies. That's why I was really interested in that one more so than the other 2.
Yeah.
But I will have to say, even though I did not like the first one all that much, I didn't fall asleep.
Right. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I was like, oh no.
That was so funny. You're like, dun, dun, dun. That cracked me up. Like, yeah, that's anything bad.
So I was going to say back to Planet of the Apes. Was this like a remake or what?
It was a reboot.
Yeah.
Oh,
knock.
And
they made 5 Planet of the Apes movies back in the 60s or 70s.
Something like that, yeah.
And they were pretty popular, Just because there was less sci-fi shit that was, I don't know, successful back then. I remember watching them all one day. They had a marathon at like a Sunday afternoon, and I watched them with my dad, you know, and it was there were some good ones that like, you know, it was before CG, so they all wore masks and shit, and it's kind of looked funky. And there's some cool dark, kind of dark and cool shit. But like the remake, I don't know about anyone else, but I think actually most people thought it was pretty bad, and it was a pretty disappointing remake.
Yeah.
I certainly was like I didn't think it was very good. I was expecting it to be pretty cool. I mean, it was like Tim Burton, I think, and Mark Wahlberg was the lead. It was like Tim Burton's remaking Planet of the Apes. That's gonna be wild.
I guess I didn't realize that was his movie.
I remember before it came out thinking, oh, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be real cool. And then no. It was not.
Yeah, I remember it did not go over very well. I didn't watch it. I'd only seen bits and pieces of it. And my brother Timothy called me tonight, and I was telling him we were doing this live stream, and so we were going through the movies and everything. And he said that the movie was terrible, but that Tim Roth did a really good job.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He probably
I was in that until you said that. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember it was Theed or something like that. I think was the name.
I wouldn't know because I didn't see it. But talking about the original Planet of the Apes movie just reminds me of Shang-Chi and what's his name? The actor.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Kingsley talking about.
Oh, wow.
They were apes pretending to be riding horses. Like, what?
Right.
Okay. All right. That was a thing.
Then Hannibal.
Yeah.
That's like the sequel?
That's another one maybe I need to... I think maybe it's worth a rewatch. I'll see what you guys say. I think when I saw it, I was kind of like, oh, that's it? Because Silence of the Lambs was such a classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw Hannibal, I was like, this doesn't seem like a classic to me.
Like what happened?
But maybe if I watched it without comparing it to that movie, it would be... Because I feel like it had scenes that were kind of memorable. But I can't really...
Was that the one where he was eating Ray Liotta's brain while he was alive? While he was still sitting there?
I think that was it.
I recall that.
And I think it was the one where he had like Gary Oldman was like in a wheelchair all burnt up or some shit.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Okay.
I guess, then Red Dragon came out again, and I feel like I maybe mix up some of those, but... no, Hannibal, I don't know. It's been so many of these. It's been 20 years. I was going to say too, it was this year, 2001. I was 16. I got like my second job ever working at a movie theater in town.
The theater.
So many of these movies I saw in the theater.
Yeah.
They were free. And I was looking at some of these movies because I remember that year I was like, I'm going to see like every single movie. I don't care. It's like, it's fun. I get to go see it in the theater. I'm going to see it. I was all excited. And I think it was around the time I saw Captain Corelli's Mandolin that I was like, I'm not going to watch it.
Not going to watch every single movie. Yeah, I ended up not watching that one, but I was interested in it because Christian Bale, again. But
wait,
that
it's a different one, I think.
I think he was in that. I think it was Nick Cage, right?
Yeah, Nick Cage. Oh, is he in it too?
I thought Christian Bale was in it as well.
I forgot he was. All I remember is it was Nick Cage on like a Greek island. And it was like a romance. Is what? Penelope Cruz. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Penelope Cruz, mm-hmm. Nick Cage on a Greek island, a romance movie. And I just remember I was like 16 in the theater. There's like no one else in the theater. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I don't like movies that much.
Right. So you got a question here, Colin. I know Arturo can answer that one because the answer to Arturo's question.
Yeah. Wait, what? I was very low on the totem pole. Like I was like Usher Boy, and so everyone else had dibs before me. But I still have one of my friends gave me because he got it and he knew I liked the movie, and he didn't care. Where is it? Pride and Prejudice. I got that from my friends and I worked there. That's an old movie poster. So yeah, they had some cool shit. They got some cool shit. I never got any. I was very low on the totem pole. And then our whole crew got fired. I'd been there maybe a year, and our crew, I was a good boy. but and I ended up I made friends. A lot of my friends I made at that place working there, they were all friends. They were all like college dudes that were friends, and they didn't give a fuck. And eventually they just fired like everybody, brought a new management, fired all the employees.
Oh.
And I was part of that. They kept like 3 or 4 that they knew had nothing to do with the crew, but I was friends with them, so I got fired. And
oh, that sucks.
I would have stayed at that job a while longer, but it was all right. Fun time.
Can anybody hear me? I'm just trying to mess with the volume of my mic.
Whoa.
Ah,
Yeah, that's way loud.
sorry. I'm trying to bring the volume down, and it keeps jumping back up.
Maybe one day we'll figure it out. Dee, did you work at a movie theater too?
I did.
Okay.
I don't know if it was for a year or a couple years, but that had to have been back in. That had to have been maybe 2000. It was like it had to have been around like 2005 and 2006. Because I remember at one point working Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest came out, and then 3, The Last Stand came out. Like a lot of
Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah.
You know what? I got another job at a movie theater that summer, and it lasted for like a summer, so it wasn't that long. And I was living in Austin for like a year, and I worked in a movie theater in Austin, Texas, for like that summer. And so I remember that, like, because I would go see, I saw Dead Man's Chest 3 times in the theater.
Yeah, I loved
that. Was a good movie.
Was that the second one?
Yeah.
The second one.
That one was so freaking hilarious. I just laughed and laughed and laughed throughout that.
I remember we went to go see that, and I remember you were like cracking up right when he stuck his gun out of the coffin and was like his gun was just observing. I remember you just cracking up.
It was funny. Was there like a bird on top of the coffin?
Yeah, there was a bird. He shoots that bird and he pulls out the gun and it's got.
I don't know. I liked it all the way up until the end. I did not like the end. When he jumps into the mouth of the beast. I'm like, oh, damn it. I don't like it.
Hello, beastie.
I know.
Right.
But
I love when Barbosa showed up at the end, though, because I was not. Everybody in the theater went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a.
So tell me,
fun movie.
What has become of my ship?
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Fond memories.
I had such a crush on Keira Knightley too. She was like,
she was all the rage back then. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and to answer, is it Dulcimer's question? Yeah. I have like, it's like 3. I think it was 3 in the pack. But I had a poster of The Devil Wears Prada, Little Miss Sunshine, and I want to say Hannibal Rising, and I have to go look because there were like a few that I got from there, but those are the first 3 I can remember.
Arturo has brought home so.
I have so much. I don't even know where to hang.
He has no room to hang. There's not enough walls.
I got this big gigantic Shazam poster, like those big gigantic
Overlord an Overlord display.
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had to throw it out because there's no ceiling in our house tall enough to.
I do have this Weathering with You display though. It's a big, the one that's been on my back, like on my backdrop every time we do.
What's that, D?
Is that big? It wouldn't fit in
big whole thing. Yeah, it wouldn't fit in the basement, and it wouldn't fit in his upstairs like his entertainment. It's just way too tall.
Wow.
And we're not putting it in our living room. No. So
I do have this
that accommodated.
I have that Weathering. Sorry, the Weathering with You
have
thing.
That one.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the only like big display I have. But yeah, other than that, I kind of want to look up something where I could display a poster, like put it up, so that way I don't have to, like at least to show it off or something when I'm filming something, because I have all these posters. They're kind of in the back of the closet.
You could probably put them on like some foam core board, and then just put it up on a stand.
Something, yeah.
But there's
so
many.
I had this big Dunkirk, same thing.
Gave up my Halloween poster. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean,
it's okay because Kills wasn't very good. So, but that was a cool poster.
It was a cool poster. Yeah, people got jealous when I got the Demon Slayer poster.
I got the Terminator lettering from Dark Fate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember Ken brought me the letters. It's like, they're big. They're like, each letter is like maybe this wide, maybe this tall. And so I'm just going to take the top off and put it on like maybe some foam core board and just a Terminator. but they've been sitting here for more than a year. I haven't done anything with them.
Menacingly.
I'm such a procrastinator. It's terrible. Okay.
I don't know if you saw it. I sent you the book.
The what?
The book you had asked about, the Mr. Chimney Rock. I forgot to mention it, but it's in the chat.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, so we're out of the highest grossing films, but I do want to talk about the Cowboy Bebop movie.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I might have had that. Yeah. That was very familiar to me. Maybe I did.
I like that dance. Do some more, Paul. Do some more.
What was that?
Cowboy Bebop, that's my favorite movie.
movie.
Yeah, we watched that movie, Colin.
Oh yeah, did you like it?
I actually liked it, and I could recognize because I've been watching the live action Cowboy Bebop.
Because you've not seen any of the cartoon.
No, she's watching it in reverse.
Yeah, TV show movie. Yeah.
But Arturo was like, "Oh, but you should watch the show first." I'm like, well, I don't. You told me that it's like almost like slice of life. Each episode is kind of standalone for the most part. I've been watching the show. I think I know who all the characters are and get their dynamic and everything. So I jumped right into I had no problem at all following and understanding what was up.
I mean, the movie is a stand, but it's like in between before like the last few episodes.
It's gorgeously animated, I must say that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And
it's just a supersized episode. As long as you're after... It's kind of like episode 10, the gang's all together. Ed doesn't join the gang until I think episode 9.
Okay, Colin, I must say.
That's the best ever.
Okay. Ed annoyed the absolute hell out of me.
You know, you love her or hate her.
God, this is one of Colin's favorites, and I can't stand her.
I'm sorry. I hate because she's like my spirit animal. Like, that's who I want to be like. Is Ed.
Oh, you do?
I love Ed. But that's funny because she's like an animal to me. Like, she's like
she acts like a little animal. She's like
I already knew she wasn't going to stay in that one spot in the movie when Faye told her to stay right there.
What was
I knew she was going to take off.
Spike said about her when she jumped into the vase? He said something funny about her, and I was like, yeah, that's true. I agree with you.
Yeah. I like Spike. I like Ed. She's like, But what do you think about the Spike? A little cooler, and
he's cooler in the. Well, I mean,
cool.
I don't know.
In the cartoon, personally, because he's so more badass. Like,
he does have a cooler look. I mean, I don't think the guy that like portrays him in Netflix isn't bad. Like, his look.
Oh, he's fun. He's good. I
mean, he comes across as pretty badass in the live action too. So, I mean, there's that scene in the back where Jet is talking at his daughter's recital, you know, like doing the holographic attendance of his daughter, and then Spike in the background kicking ass on everybody. And has no clue what's going on.
Yeah, there's things I feel like they could show in the cartoon that they couldn't really show. I noticed a little thing, like when Spike jumps in the lobby, it's like a 25-30 foot jump that he just does when he's chasing. It's little things like that I get really into. Maybe I get super into it because I'm like, dude, in real life, you got to be like a stuntman to do some of that shit. And like John Cho could do that shit. I feel like some of those scenes I don't know, I can't remember. Yeah, the movie has some shit like when he's fighting the dude in the Eiffel Tower, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It really is supposed to evoke, like Bruce Lee, like he's super fast. He's super. I feel like you couldn't get an actor to do that shit, or it's to me that really adds. I'm rambling too much, but
well, I know the guy that made Cowboy Bebop. I know he got inspiration from a lot of like pop culture stuff and just put it all in the series. Like I know there's like a Good, the Bad, the Ugly sort of reference. And obviously, some of Kung Fu stuff.
I see a lot of Clint Eastwood and Spike.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood. Mm-hmm.
The Man with No Name or whoever.
Yeah.
Just that quiet, tall, lanky, like ready to fight, doesn't talk a lot. But
he was kind of he was acting like a petulant child sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Spike would. He was like, well, I don't want to.
Yeah, he can be the Jet and stuff.
How old are you?
I'm always a petulant child.
In the anime, he's like 27. He's a little younger.
Well, he acted kind of bratty. Like, it's like Jet is the daddy, And
he is
a rebellious teenager.
Spike and Faye are
Faye is like Faye kind of like gets in, and it's sometimes like see, I don't know, like I haven't seen the Netflix one. I just know that Faye kind of does some things sometimes, and then she'll come back around and help them out with some stuff.
Yeah,
at least in the anime version.
They're their own free spirits. She's like the Romany, the gypsy girl that she's always in it for herself, but they all ultimately like each other. You know, they're a bunch of loners that come together.
Yeah.
And the movie the movie did so well at depicting like their character interaction, just like in the show.
Yeah, it really is just a supersized episode. And it's one of those things like I can't see it in my head without all of the TV show supporting it. I don't know what it'd be like to watch the movie not knowing all the rest of this. The show gives so much more character characters that it's hard to. It's like my favorite movie, but that's because of the show. So it's kind of like
it's kind of a little scary though at the same time because it's the biological weapon.
It was dealing with biological, a biological attack.
Yeah, I mean,
and my friend, usually he's on if he can, but Matt Ayer, he was mentioning that the only reason they gave that movie a rated R was because of 9/11.
It's pretty. I mean, I guess I can see it. There's like Vincent is kind of. I like Vincent. He's a good villain. Like he's so like just empty inside, and it feels like he would be like a believable villain to me. Like when the cop pulls him over and he's just kind of like, boom, just like no emotion.
Doesn't care.
Like oh, you're in my way. Like let's go. Like it's that kind of real cold and emptiness to him. And so that's some of that shit. He was a good villain. I feel like. I like some of that. I think about some of that shit too. Just like, are you living in he was always alone, didn't have anyone to share the game, and like that stuff where it's almost sad, where it's like, he was just
sympathetic.
It's almost sympathetic, but where it shows you it's complex, but it's not too. It's like just to throw a little dash of like thoughtfulness in, but it's also a very like kind of shallow fun thing too that I like. That's why I like Bebop, I think, is that it's ultimately you can take it at shallow value and get a lot of joy out of the action, the music, and characters and the funniness. But I think there's a lot of little like dashes of subtext and things that you can kind of pick apart and analyze, but you don't have to enjoy it. And I think that's the essence of what I like.
I think the funniest scene is whenever they're flying those old planes, and the guy's like. The guy's like, he's like the jet. He's like, oh, they haven't really been tested. And you see some of them start to come down.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, overall,
it's funny.
Good. It's got a noir feel too.
It does.
At least what I like, how I view it. Like
not as noirish as Big O though.
No, not as noir, but to me, it had a bit of that compared to Compared to the show, this is how I felt about it. But yeah, I think it's a good movie. If you like Cowboy Bebop, I would definitely check it out.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. So there's I'm glad we watched it, and I'm glad that I had already had a taste of it, even though if it was just through the live action version. At least I knew the characters enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't like I was jumping into it blind and didn't know anything. So.
The beginning scene is actually good, where they go and take down those guys in that shop,
gas station,
and then Spike gets mad because Jet, he got the information wrong. There was another guy, in the shop, and they were just like talking while the guy had the old lady, as a hostage.
Yeah, they don't
care.
I was thinking about Spike. Gets that guy where he walks up to him with his headphones on and like he looks down, and so the guy looks down, and then Spike just like raises his foot up and kicks him right.
Yeah,
like that is so cool. You just like walk up to a dude, just so casual, just bam.
Yeah.
And then he turned on the coffee maker, which that had to hurt.
Coffee.
That's so cool. I'm gonna throw a tidbit. I know I'm going way too long, but it's my favorite thing ever. Because Ed has this super long name, Edward Wong Hao Pepalucha Vrusky IV.
Oh Lord.
I noticed because Cowboy Bebop has a lot of Western references on purpose. It's like homages and stuff. They're not trying to hide it. They're like, yeah, this is like all this shit that we think is cool. And she is like Pippi Longstockings, which is like the free-spirited, red-headed wild child that, you know, runs around. And I never realized that for a long time. And then I saw like, oh shit, they're both like crazy redheads with this crazy long-ass name. And even to a little extent, Lilu from Fifth Element reminds me of that too. She's got this long-ass name.
Yeah.
So I like the crazy
red. Quirky and crazy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so what other films would you guys like to talk about? Arturo watched quite a few in preparation, but I'm sure he hasn't seen as many as you guys have.
Yeah, this was a year, like I said, I saw
There's
Captain.
a lot of good films, you guys, like a ton that I wrote down.
Enemy at the Gate.
Good movie.
Mm-hmm.
World War II movie.
Sniper battle.
Yep.
And it, you know what? The opening scene of that movie has been taken and used in some of the Call of Duty games. It's kind of the same with how Medal of Honor took the Saving Private Ryan opening scene of D-Day and put it in their games.
Didn't know.
I thought it was good.
There's also Memento.
Oh yeah, that was a clever movie.
Wait. No, what? No, didn't we talk about Memento before? Memento was 01?
Okay, but see, here's like, I think it was one of those weird things where it was like, it slid in also in 2001. So I think, so let me see. Hold on.
Wait, so you guys watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it does,
cool.
it's credited as being a 2001 movie. So,
okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so he watched that.
It was, premiere was 2000, September 5th.
Yeah.
In the Venice Film Festival. And then wide release was March 16th, 2001.
Yeah, one of those deals.
I'm glad you guys saw it. That would be one of the movies where if you're like, oh, we didn't see Memento, it'd be like, oh my God, you got to see Memento. Like, so isn't it like so original and cool?
Yeah.
Very original. And I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, this is good, but you know, but that was like 20 years ago. Then when I rewatched it, I was watching it with Arturelia, I was like, this is actually really clever.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking like, I wonder if you could find like a YouTube video where they actually put it all in order.
In complete chronological order.
I thought of that. That's probably.
I bet somebody has done that.
For sure.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if they hadn't. But yeah, that would have been my first Christopher Nolan film, because I think I did see that before Batman Begins, but I didn't know who he was. It was a film that was getting talked about, so I watched it.
It was basically his first movie. That movie introduced me to Christopher Nolan and Guy Pearce. And I've basically liked ever since then. I just think they're awesome. Both of them are awesome. Yeah,
Guy Pearce, he's been in a lot of films.
Yes.
He's a busy man. What else? Oh, so then there's no, go ahead, D.
Oh no, I was gonna say this one is one actually this is the first DVD I ever bought. I can't tell you the year, but I bought it from Blockbuster.
Really?
Because they used to have the used DVDs that you could get for a cheaper price or whatever. But that was the first DVD I ever bought, 13 Ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah, 13 Ghosts. I have a special love for 13 Ghosts because I feel like that was along with that whole DVD purchase, I'm a big boy now experience. I actually thought the concept of it was really, really cool. I didn't realize it was a remake at the time, but one of my favorite horror films is I think it's from 1999, but the newer House on Haunted Hill. And so Dark Castle, I know they had done a lot of films like that, Ghost Ship and 13 Ghosts, and I actually enjoyed all of them. So I thought they were a lot of fun. I know they're probably cheesier on the horror side of things, but conceptually, I always enjoyed like their films, and 13 Ghosts is one I really enjoyed.
I've seen Ghost Ship. That's the one with Julianne Margulies in it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I don't think I've seen 13 Ghosts. But I believe you talked about that in our the movie discussion we had about our favorite horror movies or something.
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
I think you brought that up. I'm pretty sure.
I never did see that one.
I think you did, unless I'm confusing it with the house on haunted, one of those haunted house things. Damn it, I can't remember now.
Where you're thinking of?
Hill House, maybe. I can't remember. What was it? Was when we had you were talking about how this person was like, they had a camera.
Oh, we did talk about that. Yeah, that was House on Haunted Hill.
House on Haunted Hill. Okay, sorry.
Was that the one with Owen Wilson? What's that one?
House on Haunted Hill. I don't remember.
That's not it. No, Owen Wilson is in that like haunted mansion with someone else. We talked about that.
The Haunted, is it?
The Haunting?
I don't know.
I thought maybe that was the movie you were talking about. It doesn't matter though.
They kind of all run together in my brain.
Yeah, that was The Haunting.
The Haunting.
The Haunting. Owen Wilson.
I honestly, you guys have seen a lot more horror than I have. It's not a genre that I watch a lot of.
Oh, that had Lily Taylor in it.
Yeah.
Oh, and Liam Neeson. I did see that.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah, I saw that, but it was like one of the things that like it was playing while I was working, so I didn't really see it all the way. I didn't pay attention to it completely.
I love their set design for that film.
The house.
Yeah, because I didn't realize. I mean, it makes sense now, but at the time, I didn't realize that it's actually a college. It's like far out in England, like on the countryside. But it's actually a college, and then naturally, the inside is not what you see in the movie. They had to build all of that. But I love the way they created the house and the whole look of that too.
Oh, Dulcimeris talks about Monsters Ball. I remember that too. I remember what a big deal that was. Got a lot of buzz in 2001. And I also remember that same year, Halle Berry was in another movie that got a huge amount of buzz, Swordfish.
Uh-huh.
And the reason, you remember the reason for the buzz?
Yes.
10 seconds of boo.
It was like the first time ever that she did this.
And it was such a boring scene. I remember that, like, she's just like sitting there and they like having a lemonade, and like he walks up and says something, and she says something, and it was like, that's it.
Yeah,
like, that's what
it was like a big deal because she'd never done that before, and I remember it was like, Hallie, you didn't have to. You didn't have to do that.
Speaking of that movie, that was like the last movie we watched for this. Because I remember
I had the DVD. I feel like if I watched it now, I'd be like, why did I like this so much? But I really liked it when I was 16.
I remember Sin watching it at the time, and I'm like, I wonder, like, because it was floating around since we were going to do this, and I'm like, did that come out in 2001? And sure enough, yes, it did. So I'm like, I wouldn't mind watching. It's got Hugh Jackman. It's got I always keep forgetting that guy's name from what's his name? The villain in that.
John Travolta.
John Travolta, yeah, and also the girl that played Storm. I thought it was decent. I just thought the ending was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
The ending was,
Like, I mean, I get that. What was the main guy gonna do? I mean, by that point,
there were only two main things that I remembered about that movie when I saw it years and years ago. The big deal about Halle Berry, and then I remember the scene when Hugh Jackman has to do some computer stuff under extreme duress.
Yes.
I never forgot that scene. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say the concept was bad or anything.
What?
I didn't think the concept of the movie was bad.
Oh no, no.
No, like the no, like just the I guess the plot, the whole. Where are they going?
It's funny too. We're thinking about the computer, like when he gets his like system. I don't think it's like when he was in duress, but we're like, here's your monitor setup. It's all these monitors, and he's like, got his coffee. He's like, here we go, and he's like, and I just remember thinking like, this is so futuristic, and like, and now it's like everybody has that setup, and it's
I've got like sort of kind of like I got my laptop. I got a screen here. I got a screen here.
The music's good though.
Cool looking though. The music was Paul Oakenfold. And he is. I love his stuff. Yeah, he's got like it's really cool. Like the very first time I ever heard one of his songs was in Collateral.
Ready, steady, go.
With
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Oh, I love that movie. That's like one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies.
That's one of his better movies.
Love that movie. It is so good. In fact, until Oblivion came out, it was my favorite Tom Cruise.
So Oblivion came out.
Mm-hmm. Oblivion with Tom Cruise. It's not a fan favorite, but I love that movie.
Is Oblivion get renamed as Live, Kill, Die, Repeat? Is that
no? That's a completely separate. Yeah, that's a completely separate movie.
I like that movie.
That's good film.
That one was good.
I don't know. Oblivion. Is that a new Tom Cruise movie?
No.
It came out very close to Edge of Tomorrow, though. I even mentioned that in one of the videos. Yeah, I remember thinking at one point that they were the same film, but they weren't.
I got Google Oblivion.
It's got Morgan Freeman and Nikolai whatever that dude from Game of Thrones. Yeah, and also the girl from Olga, the girl who played Taskmaster.
Oh yes,
in Black Widow, she was in there. But there was something, I don't know why that movie just impacted me so much, but I just loved like the score and the cinematography and the whole concept of it. So yeah, I thought it was really well done.
We had some kind of, I don't know if this was back, we used to have a ministry on campus, but it was funny, like the message, or I don't know what we were doing that day, but basically we were discussing how like they were making like a parallel with how like every morning, I have to rewatch the film, but I know that every morning he would get up and he would basically have to confirm with whatever the system was to confirm that everything was okay.
Yeah.
And you would constantly do that. And then once we get to a certain point and they basically say like, no, everything is not okay. And then what breaks loose.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like it was like a whole conversation, the dialogue we had about that was really cool. But yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that's interesting that they tied that in to like a message.
Yeah.
Anybody remember any 2 Pokemon movies that came out this year?
I do.
There were 2? No, I
didn't.
So
there was one that came out. It was the third one. It came out earlier in this year over here, and then the next one came out like maybe near the end of the year. The second Mewtwo movie, Mewtwo Return. I kind of remember that. I remember we rented that. I think was it Netflix or Blockbuster? There was a Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Lara Croft.
Yeah, Lara Croft. I mean, the movie.
You didn't watch that one.
I think I saw bits of it when your brother was watching it.
That was a big deal because Lara Croft is a really popular video game character, and people felt like Angelina Jolie was like the perfect representation. It was okay. It's not.
I thought it was going to be better.
What's that, D?
No, I was saying that's what I remember too. I was gonna say like compare, but I remember a lot more people had an issue with the newest one that came out with Alicia Vikander, because a lot of people were like, "Huh?" A lot of people didn't understand the casting for that.
Oh yeah,
I heard that it was not even. It was worse than the other one, and the other one wasn't even that good.
Right.
And maybe
that's when you just stick with the games.
Yeah, I love the games. I played.
Like, why is it so hard to capture her character and make it be as exciting on film as she's
so beautiful in CGI? I've seen like the newer reboot. She looks beautiful
in the game.
In the rebooted ones, like the modern day ones.
Games at all? So
it's the one where Conan kept killing. He kept killing her on the.
Oh, Conan kept dying.
Yeah, kept dying.
Himself on that. Like Conan O'Brien was trying to play the game.
Nice.
He kept like impaling her on this log or something. It kept. Yeah. It was funny. Yeah.
You should have cast Madonna as Lara Croft.
Madonna.
Oh please. No.
There was another game movie that was coming out. Big anticipation, especially because the 10th game was coming out. It was the Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within movie, which was all CGI, and I heard that did not do great at all.
Didn't do great. I felt like it had a lot of buzz. Maybe that's because I was just paying
Final
attention
Fantasy.
to that nerdy stuff, but it didn't.
Was
make
that
a lot
2001?
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it live action?
It was all like they like use capture devices for the motion, but everything was just CGI.
I remember though, at the time, like I don't know why it was called Final Fantasy. Like it felt like it had nothing to do with Final Fantasy at all that I knew of. I didn't know much about Final Fantasy though. Like I played 1 or 2 of the games a little bit, not even a whole lot, and that movie was like, I don't know. Personally, I thought it was like not at all what I was expecting. It was kind of weird. I don't know.
I just know that year was like a pretty big hype for it, but just because the 10th game was coming out, then I guess I was just part of that hype, and it didn't live up to expectations.
And then when finally this Advent Children came out, the movie FF7 Advent Children, and I had no hype because it was just a few years later, and it was more common, I guess. But that movie's awesome. I
haven't even seen it. I do want to watch it.
It's awesome. I think I had the DVD for a while because it was really cool action in Advent Children. So that's what I thought the Spirits Within would be like, is what Advent 7 is what I thought. It felt like a Final Fantasy movie.
They use kind of that same feel for the Smash reveals. There was a Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase that came out.
I still love on Zombie Island.
The Zombie Island one was.
Oh, that one was good.
Yeah.
That would be a good movie, Simon.
I know about Texas.
Oh no.
There's one other film that I did see this year, Training Day with Denzel Washington.
Yes.
That's classic.
That movie.
That is good. But man, Denzel Washington, such a good actor.
He got an Oscar for that, and it's well deserved. But I cannot stand seeing him play a bad guy because I like him so much. I don't like him bad.
He's always a good guy.
Yeah. But it almost made that role so much more memorable. I remember the scene. The scene where he ditches the dude in the house and the guy all of a sudden realizes, like, oh, fuck. Like, as a kid, like 16, I was like, no, he didn't do that. Like, I remember how intense that scene was. I remember that scene because I remember I was just for sure that his character was going to get it there. And then I remember what saved him. And then when I was rewatching it with Arturo, because I've only seen it twice, the first time I saw it, and then when I saw it with Arturo, when it was showing how he got hold of that, I remember thinking, wow, this was so cleverly written, this little thing that you wouldn't think would mean anything. I mean, it's supposed to at some point, but it was like if Ethan Hawke hadn't, followed his instincts to help and try to do good, he would have ended up dead. Right. Yeah,
basically.
That was nice.
So
the guy from the Fear the Walking Dead was in it.
Oh yeah. I don't know his name. Shoot.
That's the second time I've seen him in a movie. He was in that 199 movie. That was a good film. That was really good. And yes, Denzel Washington did deserve that award.
Yes, he did.
He was so good in that.
I prefer to watch him in things like The Equalizer. Thank you very much.
I know you. But I guess, wasn't this like the one time he played a villain?
Well, one of the few times.
I haven't seen all of his movies. Have there been others?
Yeah, he did in Flight. That was a very different character, and in Fences, especially, his character was pretty.
Oh, okay. I never saw Fences. I never saw Flight. But he's mostly been a good guy in everything, almost everything I've seen him in.
Right.
I think my favorite.
Leading man. Good.
Yeah, and I think my favorite Denzel movie is Deja Vu. I love that film because it's kind of so good.
I forgot about that movie.
Have you seen it, D?
I remember when that came out. I think that was when I was working at the movie theater, and so that was one that kind of flew under the radar because there were so many. I had the opportunity to watch it.
Is that also a Tony Scott movie? I feel like maybe. I need to Google that. I think I remember.
I'm not sure.
Because I know Man on Fire was a Tony Scott Denzel movie that is like my favorite.
It was a good movie too. Let me see. I'll look it up. I remember that it takes place in New Orleans. It's like after Katrina. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is directed by Tony Scott.
It is Tony Scott? Yeah.
It's after Katrina, and I remember I think they filmed it there too, and because I remember there was definitely it sort of made news that it was had been filmed there. The city had been suffering because of Katrina, and so they brought this movie there and they filmed it and everything. And I watched that movie. And I've seen it so many times, but it's been a long time since I've seen it.
I still haven't seen that movie.
Bro, it's so good.
We'll get there in 2006.
I love time travel stuff, so it was just so well done. I really liked it.
I really like the Tony Scott style, especially in this movie, because I feel like I don't even really like time travel that much, but I just remember liking this movie in that style. It was kind of similar to Man on Fire with him and Denzel, and I like that kind of just fast cuts. It's like it keeps it moving, and I like that.
You don't want to go to California, Simon. California's awful.
You do.
No, you
it's
don't.
The best.
Like if you're completely loaded with money, maybe.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, well, yeah, you can have it. You can have California. Oh God.
I look for lottery houses, you know.
There you go.
It's like Tom Segura. He's like joking about where he's like browsing for a private plane. Like that's the one. It's like, what am I doing? Like nowhere near this kind of money. Like I'm just like, eventually I'll get there. But,
it'll take years though. You got.
I've looked at private planes too, and I want a Honda something jet, or Honda. Yeah, it's a Honda jet. It's called. But the reason I want it is because its designation is HA 420.
Nice.
Okay. I actually got that one.
I don't.
You were saying about Tony Scott. Hannibal was directed by Ridley Scott and bizarrely written by David Mamet.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
really? That surprises me. I did not know that was a Ridley Scott film, and definitely did not know that was a David Mamet.
I forgot that was
writing. Wow. That surprises me because what I have seen of Hannibal isn't so great.
It's not good.
And no.
But Ridley Scott, I think, can be very up and down depending on.
I guess.
He's had some great ones, but even what I even said it in this last video that I thought that The Last Duel was fantastic, and then House of Gucci was
Yeah, that's right. I forgot he had done that one as well. I guess it depends.
I think he can be hit or miss sometimes.
It just seems like he's more associated with hits. I think he did the one with Russell Crowe.
The Russell Crowe, which I felt was like pretty forgettable.
He also did Black Hawk Down, which was another film from 2001.
Awesome. Did you guys watch it?
Arturelia watched that, and I've seen it. Yeah, I saw it.
I thought it was really good, but goodness, it's like so ridiculous how one simple mission just turned upside down, and how many people we lost like a couple of people on that battle.
More than a couple, I do believe.
More than that. Sorry, but
I remember when that happened. I remember the videos of them dragging the bodies of the soldiers through the streets. I remember that, and my brother was telling me tonight that he read the book, and he was saying how the book is actually just even gnarlier and crazier than the movie. He's like, there was this soldier who his hand gets blown off. And his hand is blown off, and he just picks up his gun with his other hand, and he just gets right back into it. Because that's like no other choice he has.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Everything was just a hot zone.
Yeah,
no matter where they went. And the crazy part was how they kept driving around to get to one place.
Yeah.
And the commander, it's like they were losing people every time. Like
he was having a very bad day. That was Tom Sizemore. He was in the foulest mood.
Tom Sizemore was,
which he was in Saving Private Ryan, which he sort of had the same attitude.
He kind of plays that type of character. Black Hawk Down. To beat the movie down, okay? You do?
I don't understand.
I don't get it either, I guess.
I just think he captured that historical moment pretty well.
Yes, really, really well. I think it's so impressive, that movie. It makes you feel. To me, it really captures that why you don't want to be in a war zone feeling.
Yeah.
Well, like it's not fucking around.
No.
It's so intense, and it's just so fast, and there's all these characters. It's so unpredictable. That's the thing. It's not like it's this hero story. There's just all these soldiers, and it's kind of spread out between them, and there's no predictable. Like this guy's gonna beat this guy, and then it'll be over. It's like, when will this shit end? Like
I know, right? That was the longest
There was this one scene where one of the soldiers, he went into one of the houses, and there was like a mother and the kids in there.
Yeah,
and he slid down, and it was a dad and a son with guns. And his son tried shooting our soldier, but he kind of slid down in a way where he accidentally shot his dad. And it's and the guy and the soldier comes up and he notices it's just a kid with a gun, and he just takes off. And I'm thinking that's how effed up war is.
Yeah. Well, and those like impoverished places where there's just like, I mean, America has a gun problem, I guess, but
it wasn't even a war. That's the thing.
It's just like,
that wasn't even a war situation.
Wasn't that Mogadishu in Somalia, which is like,
it was like
it's about as bad. It's like bottom 5 or 10 level of world poverty.
It was like
we were there to like what?
A warlord was like taking. There was provisions sent in to the people, but the warlord was confiscating it, and so they sent in the military people to try to take him out, and it did not go as planned.
Yeah.
So, that was a mess.
I'm glad you guys. I'm glad you watched, because I know Arturo, you're always talking about war stuff, and I was like, man, if you like war movies.
He does. He likes military type stuff.
It had a lot of actors in there too.
Famous.
Like young Orlando Bloom. Yeah. He didn't last long.
Yeah.
Poor Will Turner.
And then Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
That's like this. That's like one out of 2 military things he's in this year.
Ewan McGregor was in there.
Yeah.
And there were so many other faces that I see now.
The guy from Halloween. H2O.
Josh Hartnett, yeah. Yeah, it was like, it's crazy.
The guy from Saving Private Ryan. The guy from Indiana Jones and Harry Potter.
The
guy that's like Dumbledore's got style, him.
Yeah, him. He was in there. Yeah. Okay, I get it now. I get what you mean now.
That's crazy. I had no idea about that, Sasha.
I didn't either, of course. Okay. Interesting. Yep, that's not shown or told in the movie, I do not believe.
Wait, they were there? The Malaysians?
Yeah, that's what he was saying, how they were key in the operation to rescue, but received no mention.
How could they accidentally get that the historical aspect wrong?
That happens.
Well, it's the same with Dunkirk. They barely showed a lot of the French.
No, yeah.
Just the British. Another historical movie, From Hell, came out.
Oh gosh!
That was out in 2001. Did you not like that, D?
It just was I've been on this whole horror journey from a very young age, and there are points in that journey where I've leveled up visually as far as what my eyes have been subjected to. And so that was one I thought, because I had seen, and actually I remember when the trailer for this came out, I thought it was a sequel to Sleepy Hollow, because I had seen Sleepy Hollow not that long ago.
Right,
This is the sequel, and I realized it wasn't. But then, and because that was kind of my introduction to Jack the Ripper. I didn't know any of that, so subjected to some of the stuff in that film.
Okay.
Yeah. And people are still trying to figure out who Jack the Ripper was. Just face it. We'll never know. We will never know.
Good.
Just give up now.
I know. They'll always be wondering.
Give up.
But it was disturbing. True.
Yeah.
It was one of the most disturbing things. I watched a documentary about Jack the Ripper, and that was like the one time a documentary actually scared me like a horror movie, because it showed very graphic images of the last victim, Mary Kelly. And it was nasty.
Right.
It was so nasty. It's like, oh my gosh, that's really scary. He's going to come up the steps after me. It was so gross. But that was a fun movie.
I didn't know that it was based on a graphic novel, because I wasn't familiar with Alan Moore at the time.
Yes, it was. Yeah. I don't think I knew it at the time, but I found out later that it was. Also, A Knight's Tale.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
You watched that also in preparation. You saw quite a few.
That was a funny movie too. The guy, well, what's that guy's name?
Which one?
The Lance. Hello.
The Lance. Hello, Alan Tudyk or whatever his name is.
He was so funny in that. Like he was also hitting like something happened where the guy that plays in the Marvel movies, the British guy, the android Vision. Like he kind of like making that speech and stuff, and the guy's like hitting the helmet because that's like.
Is it Paul Bettany?
What's that?
Is it Paul Bettany? Does he play?
Yeah, Paul Bettany. Yeah. Timothy was telling me that today that he went to go see that was one of the earlier movies he saw in the theater, and he says he went there and he didn't know anything about it or whatever, and he says then they start playing Queen music, and I'm like, what did I get into? What is going on?
We will rock.
It was a fun movie, definitely a fun film. For sure.
Has anybody heard of The Last Castle?
Yeah. Isn't that a prison movie with the guy from Sopranos?
Robert Redford.
Yeah, Robert Redford.
And was Tony Gandolfini?
Yeah.
James Gunn.
Gandolfini.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, working at a movie theater, I went and saw a lot. I saw that movie and don't remember a lot. I'll be right back.
Okay. I don't remember if that's the first time. No, that's not the first time I saw Heath in a movie because I watched A Knight's Tale after Heath had died.
I remember Tony James Gandolfini eating a plate full of sandwiches in that. That's what I remember about the movie the most.
I never saw The Last Castle. That's the one.
It's all right. It was playing on my TV while I was working. They like had it on loop or something, so I sort of saw it in passing. I'm not crazy about Robert Redford, so it's never a movie I would have chosen to watch. Plus, I don't like jail movies. So
The Man Who Wasn't There.
I don't know of that one.
Okay.
What were you going to say?
You haven't seen Oz?
I have not.
Yeah.
I heard all about it. I remember that was pretty popular, but it was like it's also why I have never watched Orange Is the New Black. I just don't like settings like that.
It's like for me it's like depressing. I can't really get into it.
Yeah. It's why I stay away also from movies that are kind of themed around or revolve around drugs and stuff like that. It's just like a genre or an element involved that just does not capture my attention, and it's depressing, like you said.
Another one for me is when people are stranded in the wilderness. I know some of those can be interesting, but a lot of them is just kind of like the sense of just kind of being stuck out in civilization and struggling to survive like that also.
Do you like apocalyptic type films?
Apocalyptic? It depends on the kind.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about like cult films. Like cultist films.
Yeah, cult films.
The only exception is probably Silent Hill, but that's because the good guys always win.
I just finished up watching Yellow Jackets today.
Yes.
Which is about surviving in the wilderness.
Right. Which is why I was worried because I didn't know anything going in. I just saw the picture of like the poster image, and then I watched it in the beginning in the opening shot, and I was like, oh. And so as the story came together, I think the way that they did it made it easier to watch because I find those like Lord of the Flies type stories. Those
yeah. But Yellow Jackets was
Mm-hmm.
making buzz. Yeah, you liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was great. I thought it was great. I'm ready for the second season. It definitely was not what I didn't. It was not what I expected, but it was like in a really good way.
Okay. That's one of the many that I've been meaning to try to get around to. I've also been meaning to try to catch Peacemaker. And then there's another Vox something show. And then there's Arcane. There's so many. I don't have enough time to watch everything I want to watch.
I remember that one, Dosha Maris, with Drew Barrymore.
Writing Harvard Boys, yeah.
And I remember when I was that age, I remember not wanting to see it because it looked I perceived it as depressing. It's probably a good movie, but the whole I think her getting pregnant unexpectedly, and then her life kind of getting derailed. So I was like, oh, this looks like a downer. But I think it's probably more to that actual film and that story.
Is it? I always perceived of it as being like a romance comedy. I've never seen it.
Oh, Riding in Cars with Boys.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it might have that angle to it, but I know it also was kind of like I think it's kind of like that, but it also has kind of like this kind of dramatic edge to it. I don't think it's like a straight.
Oh. Okay.
Has anybody heard of Behind Enemy Lines?
Yep. I watched that a long time ago. Timothy was talking about that one. I did not realize that movie was so old.
Yeah, we didn't watch that one, sadly.
No, we also didn't get to Jeepers Creepers.
Oh yeah, Jeepers Creepers.
Dulce Maris mentions Jeepers Creepers. I haven't seen Tremors 3. I don't think I've seen anything past the first Tremors.
Because it's probably not good.
In that series. Yeah, I don't know. I knew the first one was freaking fun. I loved it.
Yeah, why make another one? Oh wait, it makes money.
Okay, so I'm not typically a fan of comedies, but I have to say I actually really enjoyed Legally Blonde.
Oh yeah. That is a good one.
I think it was something about her being like a fish out of water type. I was just like, how is she going to navigate this environment? And that she did so well. I mean, it was like through her bumbling and silliness, she actually succeeded.
Right.
I don't know. It's crazy.
And
is that one worth watching?
Was such a departure for Reese Witherspoon, because at that point I knew her mainly, and what kind of put me onto her was Pleasantville, because I love Pleasantville, and so it was a jump from the type of character she played there to Elle in Legally Blonde, but she did both really well.
She was perfect in the role.
Yeah,
perfect. It's a comedy, Arturo. It's about this ditzy blonde girl who
I get that.
She ends up wanting to join law school because it has something to do with the guy that dumped her.
Yeah, and she basically ends up trying to get. I think she's trying to kind of like prove something to him, and then maybe he'll want her because like she's not a dumb, blonde.
Right.
Girl.
I mean, she is dumb, but she's not dumb.
She's dumb, but she's not dumb. Okay, gotcha.
The way it was written was really funny, and it's unusual that I like that type of thing. But the reason I saw it, we were at Buddy Indiana's, and I remember Buddy just laughing at some of the scene, like when the guy got up in the courtroom and he said he called someone else, "You bitch," or something like that.
Yeah.
and I'm talking about my buddy, we call it Uncle Buddy, who was my uncle, and he just got the biggest kick out of that scene. So that was fun. Good memories with Uncle Buddy.
I remember he would watch a lot of those, some of those crazy movies. I know the recent one the one that he watched before his thing got worse was The Thing. At least that's one fond memory I remember.
Yeah, I forgot that. Gosh, it's been so long since we've been there to see movies.
I just remember we got a kick out of after the whole blood test scene, like everything was found. Yeah. Testing again. There was a Jimmy Neutron movie that came out.
Oh, geez.
That was like the first.
I never saw that.
That was the first one.
Did you get kicked off? What happened, Dee?
Oh, I stepped away for a second, but
okay. I didn't know if maybe you'd accidentally got booted.
What did we miss? What did you guys mention?
We were talking about Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde.
And we were talking about The Last Castle and
Behind Enemy Lines.
Behind Enemy Lines, yeah.
Owen Wilson, yeah. I watched this. Owen Wilson, I love. And it had some cool, I remember that movie. It had some cool action and special effects. Not a great movie, but not like completely worthless.
Yeah. We talked about
Creepers
briefly.
Was a horror movie that I actually did really like.
I liked it. I've actually liked all of the Jeepers Creepers movies.
The other ones didn't live up to the first one for me. The first one is, I think, really good. For what I look for in a horror movie, that's pretty much, you can't do a whole lot better. Like, I like a scary monster and creepy stuff, but not.
His style was interesting. Like his design, his character design.
He was like what, a killer that just drives around.
I don't know. He was supernatural, I think. What were you saying, Dee?
Oh no, I was saying, did you like the third one? I heard they came out with a third one.
They did come out with a third one, and I thought they were getting ready to film or have already filmed a fourth one.
I read that they're rebooting it with a new writer director.
So okay.
Gonna be
I
like
guess I thought it was like a continuation. I like the third one.
I never saw the third one.
It was like.
No, the second. No, I did. I read that it wasn't good. The second one, I was just.
A lot of people didn't like it. I liked it.
So
okay.
I never even watched the third one.
Gosh, it had.
I remember when the second one was on Sci-Fi.
Is the third one from the perspective of his sister? Gosh, I can't remember now. It's been so long.
I read about him recently because I'm reading about the new one, and I think they said the sister showed up in the third one.
She is in the third one, like she's wanting to get revenge or something like that. I just remember that was like something that happened at the end. But
the first one I really liked, and the ending creeped me out. It stuck with me. The screams that bothered me.
The bad guy character, I don't know what he was. I don't even remember what his character is.
He's like some sort of almost like baddish.
He's not a human though. He's not.
No,
human.
he's not.
But his design was pretty distinctive.
Cool.
I thought it was well done.
I felt like it moved pretty fast. Like I like that it didn't linger too long. Like he popped out before I thought he would, and then they they thought you got him, and then no, he's back. Like I felt like I wasn't waiting for cool stuff to happen. But so sorry, I interrupted something.
I was just going to say, didn't the director of those turn out to be a pedophile?
Yep.
Yeah,
there was something that came out about him. Yeah, from
I don't know the details
before,
but it made me uncomfortable. Yeah, and when I hear pedophile, I don't want to get into politics, but to me, there's a huge line between like child and not child, and one is like evil, and one is really, really bad and wrong and creepy.
It just messed up.
I do think there is a difference. Not that do not at all.
Yeah,
for older dudes to be going after like younger chicks, but like. There is.
I thought it was a guy. It was a boy.
Right, and that's just for me, my own personal thoughts. So I don't want to get political, but when I hear that someone did something with like a preteen, I'm like, put him. I
honestly do not remember how old the kid was. Yeah,
I'm just looking it up. 12 years old.
He was 12. Okay. Yeah.
That's probably. I mean, that's too creepy.
Better than Tom Sizemore, who was accusing him less than 11-year-old.
Was he?
Really?
Yep.
That's too fucked. Yeah, that's just too fucked up. It's like,
I hadn't heard
at that point. I don't really believe in rehabilitation or prison, but
that's pretty.
But it's a weird. So we were kind of talking about that on Discord, Sam, where it's like when you find out you don't like someone, and it between just like a political disagreement to finding out that they messed with kids. So like there's a huge, but like. It affects it. Like with me recently, I really love the band Queens of the Stone Age, and I've noticed some news headlines about the singer being like a piece of shit, hitting his wife. One of his kids has a restraining order against him, and just being a bad father and a bad husband. And it just like I can't rock out with this stuff as much now. It's like hard. It's hard to sometimes dissociate that with the artist, where it's like I don't want to be trying to find out every artist's life story, really, because it's almost like the more you find out, the more you find out.
Sometimes the less you like them, yeah.
And you're like, no, I can't get into this show or this song or whatever. And
in all honesty, to be honest, none of this really surprises me anymore, because people are people.
There's lots of creeps out there.
Yeah,
for sure.
So Shashi said Fast and Furious. I did mention about the first one coming out.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear you.
I heard that one was very different before it started to go in that direction.
Yeah,
it was more grounded. They were stealing like DVD players and TV video player combos.
Jumping and flying through the air. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. The current
so Dushamaris mentioned one that I was going to actually bring up right before I saw that comment. But has anyone seen Mulholland Drive?
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say I'm not sure if I have. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Simon is maybe one of his top 3 of the year, top 5.
Because it's a David.
No, actually.
No. Okay.
Oh.
I can never tell, but I know I can never tell with Simon, but I know it's a thought-provoking film, like all David Lynch stuff is. Well, and didn't you say Lost Highway was one of your favorite of the year?
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
But my own thing with Mulholland Drive, I saw it once, probably two. I should probably watch it again. I was 16. I didn't know a whole lot, and it was like nothing I'd ever seen, but in a way that wasn't really. It didn't hook me because I was so confused. But it felt like it was definitely going over my head, like not like I was, not that it was stupid. Like there's obviously a lot of thought into what he was doing, and I was missing most of it. But it was still kind of memorable, even despite that. And I know it's one brief moment of the scene, but it like cuts to some creepy homeless dude sitting there.
Yes,
I was like, no.
That's the actress. That's actually a woman, but that's the same actress who portrays the nun in the Conjuring franchise.
Oh,
wow.
Really?
Just weird,
that's
creepy
funny.
moments. And it's a cool, dark, I should rewatch it. It's a really cool, dark, thought-provoking movie that I don't understand. Like a lot of
So then
David
I'll
Lynch.
probably stay away from it. Maybe I never have seen it, and maybe that's why, because it's a David Lynch film.
It feels like
yeah, because I saw it when I probably was I might have been in middle school when I saw it, and it completely flew over my head, and it was very disturbing and creepy. And it still holds the distinction of being one of the few films that's not actually like a horror movie, but it disturbs me and it scares me.
Yeah.
And there's something about the music and the way that you feel this sense of danger, and you feel this sense of really just, I don't know, like that something is lurking around the corner, and that unsettles me more than just kind of gore and violence or jump scares. And over the years, it's one that it's like one of those films. There are certain films where I'm like, what? And then I revisit it over and over down the line. I'm like, I think I actually love this. It really kind of hits in a way, and I actually understand it. And it makes sense to me. And I never thought that would happen. But it's kind of like a masterpiece in a way. I don't know. I can't believe I'm saying it, but there's a lot I appreciate about it.
I like what you said about the David Lynch. I want to rewatch it it's something lurking right around the corner. Like I feel like that's the ultimate feeling of David. Like that's what David Lynch does. And I like the movie Blue Velvet.
Hated that movie. Ugh. See, that's the thing. I guess it's just
like there's a scene early on, I believe, where it's like the front yard of a house, and then the camera just kind of goes, and there's this bug, and it's just like, brr, and it's weird and creepy. And I feel like that's the whole thing, is like there's this dark, creepy shit right behind the idyllic, normal-looking world. And to me, David Lynch, it's not horror, but to me, that shit is more unsettling and better horror than most of those movies that I skip, because I feel like they're more like cheap thrills, like jump scares and serial killers.
More psychological type of.
Psychological horror is what gets me. Like David Lynch shit, that to me is really good. But when it's going over my head at the same time, it's sometimes I feel like I'm not getting the full effect that I should be.
Right. Colin, do you remember the scene where they go and where they basically are looking for a certain woman, and they find her apartment, and they go inside and they discover?
I don't remember what they discover, but I remember that scene. Yeah, I remember that scene, and just Also, I remember how like the two lead women are super beautiful, like Naomi Watts and I forget the other one,
I think it's Laura Elena Harding or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of is interesting contrast where they're so beautiful to look at, and then everything around them is just dark and disturbing.
Right.
It's an interesting contrast.
Definitely.
I think I confuse this movie a lot of times with another movie that that has like Jennifer Connelly in it, where her character gets thrown out of a plane.
Oh no.
No, not Requiem for a Dream.
I don't know where she gets.
Like it takes place back in the 50s, 60s, or 50s or something like that, and her character ends up getting thrown out of a plane. She dies, and for some reason I always thought that was Mulholland Drive, that I don't think it is, obviously.
No, she's not in it.
Gosh, no, I know. Yeah, so that's not the one. But now I'm confused.
I'm guessing it's not the Rocketeer.
No, not that one. I don't remember if it had Nick Nolte in the movie. Or damn it, that bugs me. I'm gonna have to look up her IMDb.
Well, Simon, I'm curious what your thoughts on Mulholland Drive is. If you liked it or not, or
To be honest, it's been decades since I watched it.
too long. Me too.
I remember enjoying it, not as much as Lost Highway, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I should rewatch that one.
Is there any other 2001 films? Because
Oh,
I'm pretty much out of what I want.
Several that I wanted to throw out, just Just Along Came a Spider, which was an Alex Cross movie. Frailty, if you guys haven't seen that, with Matthew McConaughey and
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton. That was actually kind of horrorish, yeah. Quite good. Evolution, which is stupid.
I loved Evolution.
But it made me laugh.
I bought the DVD.
Which is
it's
so
so
stupid. They were
stupid.
underneath that thing, and it was like making this big farting or whatever.
Yes. It was so stupid, and I loved it.
Is that the one with the aliens?
Yes.
David
Yeah,
Duchovny
yeah. We
was
watched.
in it. Yeah. I
And
loved
AI, which was like there was all this anticipation for AI, and I remember that kind of fell flat because it just wasn't all that.
Yeah, although I think that movie's decent. Like, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it maybe had too high of expectations.
I felt unfulfilled by it. I
think it's all right. I think it's so many of these movies. It really has been probably 10 or 20 years since I watched them, but.
I didn't realize 3,000 Miles to Graceland was 2001. There's also Kiss of the Dragon, which is like, I think that's a Jet Li movie. And also there's The One, another Jet Li movie. Princess Diaries, I liked, and I'm not into that kind of movie. Joyride, which I think I only saw once, but I forgot a lot of it.
We mentioned that last time.
We did. We were talking about that. Domestic Disturbance. Vanilla Sky, which was a remake of a Spanish language movie called Abre los Ojos. And Penelope Cruz came and played, I think, the same character as she had played in the original.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. And then The Others with Nicole Kidman. And then, of course, I did watch Amelie because you suggested it. Yeah. And it was cute and quirky, and she's adorable, that actress. But I wasn't super, super into it. I was almost a little like, okay, this is cute. She's quirky. She's funny. But it felt like it was like 30 minutes too long.
Right. I got you.
I don't regret watching it because she was, I think that's the first time I saw her in a French movie. I've only seen her in maybe one other movie.
Audrey Tautou.
Yeah. She was in that Tom Cruise movie, Da Vinci Code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she was so cute in there. She was really cute.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise movie?
No, damn it. I'm sorry. Sorry. Tom Hanks.
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Me too. Wait, I have two. Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, and Xenon the Sequel.
I don't even think I've seen the first Halloween Town all the way through. That's like Debbie Reynolds, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we talked about Enemy at the Gates. That was 2001.
Ghost of Mars. I saw that in the theater.
Okay.
Blow?
Yeah. Can you hear us? Simon?
Oh, I said Blow. The movie Blow.
Blow with Johnny Depp. That was
Blow.
And Penelope Cruz. Yeah.
And Cruz again. She had a big year.
Yeah, she did.
She's all over the place. She still is.
Blow was cool.
I never saw that. That's about drugs, right? So that's why.
Yeah, cocaine dealer.
Yeah, that's why I never saw that.
Yeah, we were just talking about how we struggle with drugs.
Drugs and jailhouse movies. Have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
Me?
Yeah.
I've seen glimpses of it, like when I was younger, but I haven't watched it probably for the reasons we discussed. But I'll have to watch it at some point.
You mean it's a good film, but I didn't like it because isn't
that your brother's favorite?
It's like Timothy's. Well, I thought his favorite was The Princess Diaries.
Well, but
it might be Shawshank Redemption. But anyway, so yeah, we talked about that briefly. The Pledge. I don't think I've ever even heard of this movie.
I saw it, but I forget a lot about it.
Rat Race.
What's that?
Rat Race.
I loved Rat Race about that DVD. Dude, yeah, when they're like giving the speech and it's like the Hitler sign or something comes up, like inadvertently, it's like he's doing the Nazi. Like I mean,
it's like a comedy.
And like me and my family are cracking up. It was,
wait, it's The Pledge. That's what it's called.
Yeah, Rat Race was a fun movie.
Rat Race. Oh,
It really is a fun. I mean, it's kind of like a dumb, goofy movie, but the concept is fun, and it had this like great ensemble cast and all these like goofy moments. It was a fun movie.
It says
What's tickling?
Something's tickling him. I know.
Yeah.
No, because I had forgotten all about that scene. So now that he said that, it's just like, oh my god! And then just the realization that they were able to get away with that. Because
I don't think I've seen that one. There's a lot of names in this film.
Yeah,
a lot of big names.
Oh,
it was a fun movie. It was fun.
I said it was inspired by It's a Mad World.
Yeah, I think it was kind of inspired, meant to be like that, and it's a fun movie.
Maybe one day, but see, it's comedy, so that's probably why I've stayed away from it.
But there's some good comedies.
There is, and there's some that I really like, but just in general, I'd much rather watch Blood and Guts. I don't know.
Well, why not watch a comedy with blood and guts, like Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
Tucker and Dale, oh my gosh. Have you guys seen, we've talked about this before, have you guys seen Tucker and Dale?
Tucker and Dale, yeah, on that, the horror comedy movie. That's a good one.
The one time on Twitter, it came up. Somehow it came up, and I made a comment about it in the discussion. And the dude who played the chunky guy, I don't remember if he was Tucker or Dale, but he noticed and he liked my tweet, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that guy!" Like my tweet. That was almost up there with Robert Patrick liking my tweets. Anyway, that was exciting. Don't say a word. That was 2001. Wow. I like that movie. Yeah. And Famke Janssen.
Yep.
And I think bad guy. Who was he? Oh shoot. He always dies in movies.
Sean Bean.
Yes.
He always dies. That's
you know exactly who I was talking about.
Yep. He does.
Yeah, poor guy.
Ching ching chong.
What's that?
No, I was saying I just happened to catch the time. I got caught up in the conversation, so I'll have to sadly bow out.
Okay, that's fine. Can you list your top three really quick for us if you have a top three?
Top three. Oh well, let's see. My top three because I wrote some down. I really 13 Ghosts, of course.
Yeah.
Because I love, because not only is 13 Ghosts a fun film, it was kind of my first appreciation of buying a film and then the behind the scenes and Ghost Files and really getting into commentary and getting into all of that, which kind of added to my appreciation for film and kind of where I am now. So, I love Dark Castle horror films. So there's that. I would say The Others with Nicole Kidman. That film really shocked me when I watched that. And I think she had. I remember she did Moulin Rouge and The Others in that same year. They're both so different, but but she did a great job in both of those films. And the twist, of course, was unprecedented. I love horror films that kind of capture that feel of a horror story. And I told you I've been a big horror story fan since I was younger, so that's another great one. Mm-hmm. And of course, as I mentioned, Mulholland Drive. It's a very it's an unlikely. It has an unlikely place in my film experience, but it's just something to be said about a film that challenges you to kind of like revisit and kind of go deeper. And it's just something very beautiful and scary. And once you kind of understand it, then it hits home in a very deeper way. And that's another reason why it's just a very impactful film for me. So that'll probably be my top three.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, glad you could share that with us. And thank you for joining us, Dee.
No problem.
Sorry you have to bow out, but it's all good.
All right. I'll see you guys.
Have a good one. See you at the next
one.
Bye. Okay. So
that's just to make that ass more pronounced.
I know. I noticed that too. I was like, oh, I can't avoid it now because like I was keeping my eyes trained on D and Colin most of the time, and now it's like right there where I was looking at D. I can't avoid it now.
Oh man, we need D. We need a fit. I like having D here.
I like his commentary. I really like his reviews, the way he does his reviews, and it's just I don't know. I get excited watching other people talk about movies. So I like to watch movie reviews and things like that. So I don't even remember how I found it. Oh, I think he was watching some of my live streams, and so then I went and because I saw he had a lot of subscribers, which usually means they're a creator. So I went to his channel. It's like, oh, he's a reviewer. How cool! So then I started watching his stuff. So do you guys have your top 3? I've got my top 3.
I have like 4.
I just gotta give some shout outs. This was, like I said, I saw.
Yeah, there's so many films.
Every movie.
I mean, maybe I only maybe have 1, but the rest is 4.
Well, like Dulcimeris mentioned, I miss Joe, not Joe, right? Joe that used to do our movie chats with us.
Joe. Yeah, he's not. He
would always be with the dumb comedies with me because Dulcimeris mentions Freddy Got Fingered with Tom Green, which was pretty funny. Rip Torn, and let's see, Zoolander. Super Troopers actually. Super Troopers was classic comedy, funny, the funny movie. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but Super Troopers is really good, and Zoolander is really, and Owen Wilson and Zoolander is just another. He had this like 2 years in a row where I was like, man, Owen Wilson's awesome. He's in all these. Zoolander was really funny and had a good cast. And, so yeah, a lot of good funny movies that came out. I had to mention another Owen Wilson movie, Royal Tenenbaums, which
another one I haven't seen.
I'll mention that. That's part of my top 3. I'll mention that.
Okay, so that's one of your top 3s.
When I do top 3, the Metropolis movie, the anime, I own that DVD. I watched it a lot, and that's I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of anime, so I can't compare it to all the animes. But I feel like
asking if Arturo had seen that, right?
Yeah, was that 2001? I thought it was 2002. I could be wrong. Maybe it came out in 2001 Japan.
The IMDb listed as 01. So
okay, then it might have came out in Japan first.
But I really like it, and I thought it was just a really good story, and it has a lot of good reviews.
It's in this 2001 list on Wikipedia.
I've seen like maybe one sort of clip of it.
I think that's meant to be like a whole film, though, kind of, because it's kind of like it's a pretty big story, It's meant to be. It's a scene all at once, I think. Man, I know I looked over this some more. I feel like there's some more.
I'm surprised at how many pretty decent films were in this year.
A lot,
to be honest.
We didn't even I didn't even see Ali, but that was a big when it came out. Will Smith playing Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that was 2000. Really?
Wow.
Rockstar. See, I'm remembering.
Holy cow!
I have all these memories of like working at the movie theater and like looking at the release dates, like this, like September, week 1, week 2, week 3. And like seeing these movies, like, oh, Rockstar, that was September. Yeah, that movie sucked. I went and saw it. It was free. I thought I was getting a deal.
Yeah, but then you have to think I'm wasting my time.
No, I understand.
Watching this stuff that sucks.
Ghost World was I liked that movie. It was kind of an independent kind of comedy relationship movie. It had Steve Buscemi. And it was a little odd movie, but I don't know. Ghost World was all right.
Yes, that's a better picture, Simon.
Much better.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. And American Pie 2 was huge if you were a teenager.
I remember that floating around quite a bit, but I've never seen it because it just looked like
it's a teenager.
Not my type of
it's a teenager. No one mentioned the score with Robert De Niro, Edward Norton, and Marlon Brando.
No, we didn't.
That's a pretty good one.
I don't even think I saw that movie.
I think it is. I saw it, once in the theater, and it was, just like a crime. You maybe wouldn't like it because it's a bit of a heist thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's just a good cast and a pretty decent movie, I thought.
One movie we haven't mentioned is A Beautiful Mind.
That's right. And I noticed that as I was going through it, but for some reason, for whatever reason, I didn't write it down. Probably because I saw it once and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I saw it once was enough for me too. And I don't know if it won Best Picture and Best Actor, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And
wait.
I also think that's where Paul Bettany and Jennifer Connelly met.
Yes, that is where they met, but I don't remember. Did he win 2 Academy Awards? Because he won for Gladiator, I thought.
He won 2 in a row because I remember that.
He got one for Beautiful Mind as well?
Pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Okay, I'm going to look that up.
But I'm pretty sure because... And
I remember he was nominated, but I didn't remember that he won.
I shouldn't say
he was nominated. Denzel got Best Actor.
Oh, of course. Denzel got it. Of course. You're right.
For Training Day. That's right.
Russell Crowe, I think Russell Crowe won it in 99.
He won it for Gladiator. Because
no. For The Insider, the smoking movie, I'm pretty sure he got back-to-back Oscars. It was The Insider and then Gladiator.
No, he's only won one.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Damn it. He was nominated for The Insider, and he was nominated for Beautiful Mind, but he only won one for Gladiator. And I remember that Joaquin Phoenix was also nominated, but he did not win.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, but he was good in that.
But yeah, that 3 years in a row. I remember just that Russell was nominated at least 3 years in a row.
Yes, they did come out in 2001. Doesn't that blow your mind that they're that old? Holy cow.
20 years.
Oh, we didn't mention, I don't think we mentioned, the Coen brothers had a movie, The Man Who Wasn't There, Billy Bob Thornton.
I think we did bring it up.
Someone brought that up.
Someone did? Okay.
Maybe
that was a good movie.
I don't think I ever saw that film.
I liked it. I liked Billy Bob's performance. It's a black and white. It's kind of a slow movie. It's Coen brothers, so it's different, it's weird. But I liked it. I think Billy Bob really makes it interesting because he plays this really kind of quiet, reserved, simple man in like a simple time, but then he gets kind of caught up in a bit of a, dramatic story. And it's kind of interesting seeing how this very simple, doesn't say much, has a simple man kind of deals with these like more intense scenes, I guess. That's part of the movie. So that's a good one. Yeah, Coen, I love Coen brothers. I remember Bubble Boy was another crappy movie I watched because it was free.
Bubble Boy?
Jake Gyllenhaal's in a bubble and he's the guy goes on an adventure.
Oh my gosh.
It's so bad.
It's a lot of fun.
It's great. Yeah. It's
great. Oh, we were just talking about you, Joe. Just now.
Yeah. We were. Mention all the.
Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we were talking about.
You must jump back on, Joe. What are you doing?
I even did contact him, to sort of try to reel him back in.
Now we're right here.
He said early on that he, before we even got to this decade, that he didn't watch a lot, so he probably wouldn't be. He probably wouldn't be participating. Well, now we've talked about a lot of films. You should go in.
The Lonely Man song playing in the background.
See what Joe's top 5 is, or top 3.
Yeah, what's your top 5 or 3 for 2001, Joe?
That's if has he seen some of the stuff?
I don't know.
Gotta see what the Super Troopers.
Oh, I didn't realize Bernie Mac was in Ocean's 11.
The Zoolander, yeah, Bernie Mac, yep.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and mention my top 3, which we've talked about all of them. Okay. So, Harry Potter, obviously. And, of course, we called it the Sorcerer's Stone over here. We didn't call it the Philosopher's Stone.
Right.
And what? I thought it was the Philosopher's Stone.
Well, that's the British title. The title that they gave it over here is the Sorcerer's Stone.
What?
And, yeah, I know. And then Training Day. And then Brotherhood of the Wolf. Those are my top 3.
Oh, dang it.
But there's a lot of.
See, I have other. Oh man, that's gonna be hard. Now I gotta rethink.
I want to say something about Harry Potter. which is that it was when it came. I remember 2000, 2001, like. It went from no one had ever heard of Harry Potter to all of a sudden, like the third
everybody
book
was crazy. Yeah,
and it blew up, and everyone was reading the 3 books, and they instantly were like, make a movie, and the movie was coming out, and I still remember at that point it was like it could have just been a phase, like it could have been like they maybe made a sequel, it didn't go so well, whatever, fades, but the books hadn't even come out, the movies, half the books hadn't come out, and so it's just funny to think back at that time where it's like, yeah, it was blowing up at the time, but it could have passed, but it ended up riding that momentum all the way and just carrying it, and
all the way through
success that even today it's like never dropped, like it's like the most successful fantasy franchise of our generation. I mean, it's just everyone knows it, everyone watched it, it's so for so many people. Like that's the thing.
I'd never even heard of Harry Potter until the movies came out. And so I got into them through the movies. And then, of course, by the time the last book came out, I didn't start reading the books until after the 3rd movie. Well, I started listening to the books. And then, of course, the last book comes out and I ordered it. I started physically reading it. And then by the time it was officially released, then I was able to get my hands on the audiobook. And then I started listening to it. But then I was like, I just could not. I was almost done. And I'm like, it's going to take me too long to finish listening. I'm going to grab the book. I can read quicker than I can listen. And so I was reading through the night. It's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock at night. I'm like, I can't go to sleep without knowing the end.
Yeah.
I stayed up till like 4 o'clock and then I couldn't go to sleep because of the end.
Yeah.
But and also around that same time, I got to go see the 5th movie 2 weeks early because they were doing an advanced screening. That was really fun. Those were some good times watching.
I remember at least one of them in 2005 or something. We did like the midnight. We waited in line at like Barnes Borders.
People were doing dressing up and
we didn't dress up.
And everything.
We got the book at midnight and then like went home and started reading it. Because my sister and mom got into it. And then since they had the books, they loved it. I was like, because I was all cool and 16 years old and a guy. And I was like, whatever, I guess I'll read them. And then I was like,
it got a lot of kids really excited about reading, which was cool.
Yeah. The 3rd book was really good. I still stand by.
Yeah, it was good. I like the Harry Potter friend was what? Yeah, sure. In answer to this, yes, they did do an anniversary event. I had heard that she was excluded, which would have been really shitty. But then I heard that she actually declined to participate. So I don't know what story's true.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Conspiracy.
I don't know.
I've never seen a single Harry Potter movie. I'm quite proud of that fact. No.
Uh-oh.
I started watching one on the flight and fell asleep.
Okay, so they start off. Okay, this is what's interesting about Harry Potter, and the books do this too. They start off kind of lighthearted, but with some elements of suspense and danger. And then as the books go on, they get darker and darker. And the same thing with the movies. I mean, by the time it gets to be movie number 4, when some really serious stuff, like that's when there's like a death that happens.
Well, I thought the 3rd one was sort of leaning towards a darker path.
Right, it starts to get darker, but I think by movie 4 was when was it like the first death maybe of one of the characters that was Cedric Diggory, and then it just gets darker.
Darker. I remember I liked the 5th one a lot.
Goblet of Fire was really good.
I really liked that one.
That was a really long book.
Oh my gosh, Joe, you too.
Yeah.
Joe. Okay, so Joe, if you ever want to get back into these with us, even if it's the decade of the early 2000s, let me know. I haven't, pestered you about it because I figured you wouldn't want to. But honestly, if you want to join us, we don't. We're right here.
Yeah, this is gonna be.
I mean, they're not for everyone. It is like kids going to school, but I was just thinking back. I was talking to my mom out there, where it's like, yeah, Harry Potter, like it could have been a fate. Like we didn't know it was going to become the biggest thing ever. Like it would just, it had its moment, like a lot of things do, and then it just never stopped. And so
It's like another Star Wars.
Have you read any of her Robert Galbraith?
I haven't. No, I never. I mean, Harry Potter, for me, it peaked on book 3. Like, I thought book 3 was awesome. And then after that, it was like they were good, but they never topped that for me. And so it was like, no, I wasn't like a super big fan of her. I don't get into authors, really. I get into stories.
Yeah. Well, the other stuff that she writes under that pen name is completely different. It's like a
She's an alias, I think, for one.
Yeah, she still does. Everybody knows now. I think what happened is she published under that, and then it wasn't getting noticed, and so then it was revealed that she's the author, and so then of course it picked up in popularity, and so I started listening to them because it's the type of thing I like as well. Like, it's a detective type story, and then they made a live action series based on the books, which is pretty decent. I like them as well.
I would love if any of my stories were adapted into something. That would be so awesome.
That is almost impossible for that to happen. Like, it's really hard to get noticed, Arturelia.
Yeah, it is.
So, anyway, all the stars aligned for her, so it worked out well.
But wasn't she poor, though? Wasn't she like... She was poor. She was writing Harry Potter.
She would like write on the train or the subway or something.
Yeah, she was poor. She had to build up to get to that point.
Yeah.
Wait, you gotta keep doing your top 3.
I finished my top 3.
Harry Potter, Training Day,
and Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Oh, this is gonna be hard for me. I got too much good ones.
Wait, I gotta shout out some more movies. I'm not done.
Yeah, go ahead, because there's a ton.
No.
How High, the stoner comedy with Method Man and Redman from the Wu-Tang Clan. That was like me and my group of friends that worked at the movie theater, and like 16 was the year I first started smoking weed. The end of 16, so this year, like the end of 2001 is when I first. So like, I got really, really high when I was watching How High with my friends, and like it was just one of those, like, we would just be laughing and watch it, every weekend. We'd pop it on and we're smoking, and it's really dumb, but it was really memorable, really fun. Also, Itchy the Killer. I'm not really a fan. I watched it once. It's just a notable movie for, like, I think it's Japanese action. It's hyper violent. It's kind of famous or infamous for being like
Itchy the Killer?
Super violent. Itchy the Killer. Like ICHI.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the guy Takashi Mike is the director.
It's based on a manga series.
Takashi Mike's a really famous Japanese director. He's done a ton of movies, and Itchy the Killer is one of his more famous ones. But like, it's a notable movie. I think I saw it and I was just kind of like, yeah, I get it. It's really violent, but like I wasn't that into it. But
based on a manga,
crazy.
Huh.
It garnered controversy because of its graphic depictions of violence and cruelty. It's been banned in several countries. Okay.
Doesn't surprise me. Like New Zealand, I think, bans some of the animes.
I don't think I've seen Down to Earth.
Like, if I saw this movie today, I would probably think it sucks, but America's Sweethearts, I really liked it. It's when I was 16. It has Julia Roberts and John Cusack, Billy Crystal and Catherine Zeta-Jones, and it's just
wow, a lot of names.
They're hanging out at this like hotel in New Mexico. I don't even remember. It's a romantic comedy. I feel like I wouldn't like it, but for some reason, like, I was watching every movie that year. Like I said, I would just go watch it if it came out. I would just go watch, and I liked it. I don't remember why. It's like the movie I would never watch, but I watched it a few times. I went back and I watched it again in the theater. And
I don't even remember that film.
But yeah, so that's sometimes I'll rethink of that one and be like, I went back and watched that one again. Like, there was a lot of movies I didn't go back and see that you would expect I would have.
Did you watch I guess you would have watched a ton of films this year since because of your work at the theater.
what, like I said, I wasn't working there at the big January of the year. I don't remember when I started. If it was like, I think it was probably June, like the summer. But because I remember like some of the summer movies, and then the fall and Christmas, just like seeing everything. Like, yeah, it was fun. But yeah, Captain Corelli's Mandolin was the one where I was like, what am I doing? This is I'm not getting a deal. This is
Christian Bale wasn't enough of a draw for me on that one either.
I forgot he was in it.
That's the only reason I knew about it, was because he was in it.
I didn't know who he was back then, though. 2001.
I didn't find out about it until later. That's why.
Oh, he was in what was that movie? Empire of the Sun.
Well, yeah, he was just a little kid then. I remember that movie when it
it
came
was a good
out,
movie.
but I didn't know who he was at the time.
I like the perspective, a different view perspective of the war.
It was different.
Oh, Pootie Tang came out. Louis C.K. wrote.
I think someone mentioned that.
Pootie Tang, Chris Rock movie.
Never saw that one.
I think it was actually. I think it was kind of dumb. Like I love Louis C.K. is one of my favorite comedians, and Chris Rock's awesome.
And he wrote it?
I think Louis C.K. wrote it and directed it, and Chris Rock stars. And Chris Rock doesn't star as much as you would think. I think there's this other dude who plays Pootie Tang, and I feel like he's just not as funny as you would hope.
How do you feel about Louis C.K.?
Is what?
How do you feel about Louis C.K.? You mentioned Josh Homme earlier. So how do you feel about Louis C.K.?
I love Louis C.K. No, I'm not bothered at all by his... people are weird. He's a pervert. You know, it's not... From what I can gather, the specifics of it doesn't bother me at all. Like, he's like, can I do this? They're like, yeah. And then they were like, oh.
I thought they said no, and then he's like, okay, or something like. I don't remember. Like, they tried to make it out like he was in some sort of position of power and had exerted his power over these women. Like, he wasn't in any position of power, and he didn't force
I don't buy
them.
It.
I mean, it's a creepy, gross situation, but it wasn't like he forced himself on anybody. So
I don't think it's so much that. I think it's more that he could do something for their career if he wanted to.
I thought he was like I thought he was like not even a somebody at that time.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, there is that. I mean, that could be argued, but I would also say like they should have just said no. I mean, I'm probably not.
Well, that's the whole reason they didn't want to say no, because
right. Wait, because then
could have helped their career so much.
Right, but then that's like they did something kind of gross too. Like,
that kind of reminds me too of the whole thing with like so Harvey Weinstein and how what kind of like a scummy creep he was, but also I remember Salma Hayek wrote this big article. She's talking about when she was working on Frida, and so like Harvey Weinstein used people, but people used him too. Because they would what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like they would sacrifice.
Right, quid pro quo.
They would sacrifice.
It's all about the money.
Their behalf to get what they wanted. So
yeah,
like
it's all about the money.
So she's all like complaining. So like people that like got where they wanted to get because of what they got through him and what he got through them or whatever. Like I think her deal was. He wanted to watch the scene where she was filming a lesbian love scene with Ashley Judd or something. And he wanted to watch it. And she was like, she didn't want him there, but he insisted because he's like producer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so she did it. And she's talking about how, she just felt so gross and she's throwing up later and crying. And I'm like, but you got
what you wanted.
What you wanted out of it. Like why there's a lot of gray area in some of these situations.
There is.
I mean, that's Hollywood for you.
I thought that I heard that he was not a somebody at the time when I read up on the specifics. So I don't know. I might be mistaken about that. But,
well, that's why they say
I watched Louis C.K.'s latest comedy special, and I got to say, that wanker is still funny.
Oh, yeah. I bought both of them. to support him.
He's twisted.
Is Sincerely and then Sorry. And I've watched Sincerely like 3 times, and I watched Sorry twice now. And yeah, I think he's at this point my favorite living stand-up comedian. Because honestly, Dave Chappelle dropped the bomb. It was between him, Burr, and Chappelle. And Chappelle, his last special, really wasn't that funny. It was just like, it was pretty funny. He's awesome. Had good jokes, but he spent like 20 minutes telling like the serious story and talking about trans people. And I'm like, dude, I'm giving you an hour. Don't waste my time. Like, this isn't funny shit. I
have not even seen it.
I don't give a fuck. I don't have any dog in this fight. I don't give a fuck. Like, this isn't funny. You're here to make me laugh, and I'm not laughing. But Louis C.K. doesn't do that. Louis C.K., I'm laughing the whole time. Like, he's really funny.
Oh, is he the one on Netflix?
Yeah, the one his.
Louis C.K.
You have to buy Louis C.K.'s special.
Okay.
Isn't he the one that they're trying to cancel or something?
Yeah, you're talking.
It's done. He's back. I mean, his new special got nominated for a Grammy. You know, I think that was one of those where it's like, I think people are just confused about the internet. You know, every this is something I think about a lot, which is every single person has an idea of we and whatever we means, the society, a community, we, but every version of we is different for everyone. And that's the internet really throws it off. And I think no one knows what's going on. I mean, that's all that's going on. And so it's just have your own opinion and just don't fuck around. So that's what I think. I don't know.
You know how people are. I was going to say, Sashi, yes, I agree. And a lot of people around accepted it at the time until it could no longer serve their purpose. And then, you know what happened.
It's like, you know what? I don't like you. Go away now.
Go away now.
Is it that it can only happen in an environment where people accept it, or that was the only environment there was?
I mean, I've always mentioned that Hollywood is not a great place.
Yeah.
I think it was like a well-known not secret. It was like a well-known secret what the stuff he was doing. So basically from what
it's not just Harvey Weinstein. It's like a casting couch has been around for decades.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Funimation's kind of like that too.
And it's accepted and tolerated because that particular person can do things.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they sacrifice so much morality just to get where, you know, just in general to get what they want. It just.
Yeah, I think the whole point is they shouldn't have to.
No, they shouldn't have to.
It's greed.
But money. You know, anywhere you have humans, you're going to have crap like that happening.
Law and Order.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
We are going to get to the shows in just a second.
There were actually several shows that.
Yeah, I got a lot to mention.
That year. I wrote Law and Order down as well.
So wait, who else has to do their top?
I think Colin.
Yeah, I think I do.
You listed your top 3? Or
I think I'm done shouting out.
We got very distracted. That was fast. Okay. Simon.
Do this.
All right, I'll try.
Maybe Colin will. Huh?
Wait. Didn't Colin already? I thought it was Simon's turn to do his.
Simon go.
You want me to go?
Your top 3.
Do it now.
I've got a top 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've talked about 4 of them. So leave the one we haven't talked about to last. Training Day, Blow, A Beautiful Mind, Amelie, and Amores Perros.
Oh,
Amores Perros.
I hated that movie.
I did see that movie.
God, I hated that movie.
Really?
And I'm like, you know, it's good technically, the filming, the acting, all that. Just I did not like the story. I did not like the people. I also did not like Y Tu Mamá También. I couldn't stand that movie. And I'm like, this is why I don't watch Mexican movies, because they don't make stuff that I want to see. But I like the dialect, that Spanish dialect. Yeah. But it's Spain that makes the stuff I want to watch. So I got to put up with that dialect that is different and the idioms are different. I'm going to end up saying something that's a mistake.
Oh no, Mexican, I can tell when something like they use vosotros. They don't in Mexico they don't even use that.
No, they don't. But I'm also talking about things that are considered bad things to say in Mexico that are not in Spain.
Well, Mierda is the thing that's passed
Well,
around
that's
most
universal.
times.
That's just a universal word.
It's a universal thing.
But yeah, Morris Paris. So that's your favorite of 2001. I didn't realize it was that old.
Yeah.
I saw it once and I liked it. I liked how different it was, especially at the time. I was 20 years ago.
It made waves. I remember it got noticed.
But it's been too long. I don't
Is
remember.
that the same guy who did it to Mama Tambien?
I don't think so.
Let me see.
Oh, Spy
Well,
Kids.
Actually, I watched 21 Grams and then went back and watched Morris Paris.
There was the one Mexican show on Netflix that we were watching, and we never really finished it.
Oh, the one with
The girl that played in La Reina del Sur.
Yeah, oh, shoot.
About the president.
We never did.
The Mexican president.
Did it Morris Paris come out in 2001? I'm not finding it.
Yep. The Morris Paris was Inaratu. Yamatu Tambien was Quaron.
Okay, Quaron, that's right. But I'm not seeing it on this list. So that must have been one of those weird movies where maybe, it's not showing up on my 2001 list.
It's on the Box Office Mojo. Hang on.
That's weird. Hold on.
No, we didn't mention Spy Kids. Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Simon,
it's listed as a 2000 film. So it must have been one of those. So it came out in 2000 in Mexico in June, but I don't know when it was released.
Yeah.
What is it even about? Drug stuff?
It's like it's these different stories about these different guys, and I remember there was like dog fighting involved, and I remember, what's his name? Gael Garcia Bernal is in it.
I mean, it's like 3 different stories that kind of intersect. So
yeah, they connect in some way.
Kind of like Pulp Fiction, not too much like it. It's not like Tarantino-esque, but that kind of like intersecting multiple stories, kind of.
Okay, it sounds interesting, but Sin, why do you not like it?
I didn't like the people involved. I didn't like the characters.
I
just didn't. I didn't like, and it was just a storyline that I just didn't.
About drugs, I'm assuming.
No, I don't think it was.
It's on the themes of loyalty and disloyalty.
Yeah, I remember
the dog being representative of that.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was released on the 30th of March, 2001 in the US.
Okay.
Limited release.
Okay. All right, so that's why
I don't even think I've ever heard of that movie.
Happened. Yeah.
The only Mexican movie that I know I want to watch is the one where
Matando Cabos.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. I like that movie.
Got like a guy that looks like Shia LaBeouf, but then there's this other guy that also looks like Dexter.
Yeah, Tony Dalton.
Yeah.
And he's playing in Hawkeye.
He played in Hawkeye.
Yeah. It's so funny. He's someone that can just cross seamlessly between the two because he's American, but he's also Mexican. He's got Mexican heritage, and he's completely fluent in Spanish and English. So,
well, even the girl you were saying there was the two girls in this recent Scream.
Yeah.
Like I know the one girl because I did see I saw what was that movie called? The Musical.
In the Heights.
Yeah, like she was in that. That was the first time I noticed her.
So that girl is the one who plays like the main character in Scream, and she was born in Monterrey, Mexico. I believe it was Monterrey. And the other girl who plays her sister, she's Latina also, but she's American. She was born here. So
it's crazy how they could just switch dialect.
I know. Being bilingual is really cool. Being multilingual is cool. Spy Kids.
I don't know how you could do that. Recently got me.
Oh, really? That's another movie that
It was like water for chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't. I remember that film. That wasn't like in the 90s, maybe?
We're going past now. Totally 90s when the podcast part is over.
I didn't like that.
We're entering the 2000s.
Well, we were just talking about Mexican stuff. So Simon listed his 5. What was the other one you listed? Oh, you said Amores Perros. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Amores Perros. All right.
Oh, this is hard. I feel like I need to do a top 7.
You can do a top, however. Did you had a lot of shout outs, but did you give us an actual official top?
I think I'm ready.
Okay.
And there is some almost more shout. Like, I'm sitting here looking at the list, and the more I think about it, the more I want to watch The Man Who Wasn't There again. I think I would really like revisiting that movie. I really like Billy Bob Thornton's performance. It's kind of like a minimalist performance. It's really interesting. So I'd shout that out. So what is it I need to say? Cowboy Bebop gets a special place. I'll do a top 5. I think this is like top 5-ish. Bebop gets a special place because, like I said, it's kind of like my favorite movie because it's my favorite show. Without the show, I don't know if it would be my favorite movie. So it's a weird spot there. But I have to say Cowboy Bebop. I was going to bring up Amelie. I think it's right outside the top 5 because that was one that, like, I love it so much. I loved it, and I haven't watched it for a while. I think it's too nostalgic for me. I think that will take me back to, like, sweet, optimistic teenage Colin. The world's going to be so
yeah.
I can't go, I can't do that kind of happy nostalgia very often sometimes. So, but Amelie's a great movie. I loved it. I own the DVD. A lot of these I'm talking about, I bought that DVD and I watched it a bunch, and it was really good. And then, so I think I'll do the top 5 though. Cowboy Bebop. I think Black Hawk Down has to be there. Instead of Amelie. Such a good one of my favorite war movies ever. So good. Like, there's like no boring parts. You're just ready the whole time. So then top 3, I'm not seeing it on IMDb, but you guys said Memento is 01.
Memento,
yeah.
That's got to be.
Yeah.
That's got to be top 3 because that's one. It's still to this day just one of the most creative and original movies with the story, like the writing and the direction, and then the Guy Pearce is so cool. So I really like that. Memento.
We are always getting stupid spams.
I'm blocking them.
Why?
It's crazy bots out there. It's like bots
I know.
on themselves. Like, the internet is a mess. So then, top 2. It's almost tied. I'll bring up. I'll probably have my favorite. I'll tell my favorite first. And we actually haven't talked about it much. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
We just touched on it. I remember what a big deal that movie was. How excited people were about it.
We were right there because I would say that's my favorite movie of the year for sure.
Okay.
You were facing the forces of all the customers going into that theater.
Well, it was cool because probably 2 years before that, 99 or so, I was 14. My mom had always loved the books. She'd read the books more than a dozen times growing up.
Oh, dang.
She gave me the books, and I read them at like 14, and I was like, these are awesome. I loved them, And it was like a few months after I finished reading the books, I read they're making a movie. And I was like, so the whole time I was like, who are they casting? Is this guy? Oh, that's perfect casting. Like, I was paying attention, and it came out, and man, for me and like my mom, who's a huge fan, favorite books ever, it really lived up to the hype. Like, as it lived up to the books in a way that so rarely movies are able to live up to books. And it's just like the casting is great, all the cinematography, all the production value of how much work you can see it on the screen, and it's just a movie you can get lost in, and just go to the Middle Earth. And it's one of those movies. It kind of like makes you feel. At this point now, it's been 20 years. It's like it's comfort movie. It's like it feels good to go to the shower. And I think of all the movies, Fellowships is my favorite because really the more he starts throwing CG action, it's like it's cool the first time, but it's eventually like it's kind of like I don't care. It gets to be excessive. Like, I think he ruined the Hobbit movies by just making it all CG.
Yeah, the Hobbits that did not need to be 3 films.
Yeah, it did not.
It should have been one.
Did you get the extended? Did you get the extended?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Me and my dad, at least.
I've never seen the extended one. I know.
Me and my dad spent a day watching all 3 extended back to back. It was about 12 hours.
Dang.
And we just woke up in the morning, started, take breaks throughout the day, and by that night we finished, You
turned into Gollum.
Yep. By night I was Gollum. Yeah. But I love it. I love Lord of the Rings. I think it's #1 Trilly. That was on some late night. What is the dude? Anyways, it's really funny. Anyways, the movie's not really fun. The movie's really great. The movie's awesome.
No,
Everyone, but what can I say that hasn't been said? Everyone knows Lord of the Rings. So then I'm gonna go to my #2 movie, but I'm gonna talk about it last because I don't think any of us talked about the Royal Tenenbaums.
It was mentioned very briefly in passing. Yeah.
And I mean, it's right up. It's close to Lord of the Rings. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. I'd say. I mean, it's probably top 20 all time, and it's just a movie that I love. And it's just, I really enjoy Wes Anderson as a filmmaker, and this is the movie that really. I'd seen Rushmore before this and liked it, and this movie I saw it in the theater with my friend, and to me it's just like it's so good. He's very artistic in all the framing. It's very like colorful. It's really creative. Like the characters and the actors, it's really funny in a quirky, unexpected way, and it's just different. And it's just something that it's easy to watch. I feel like it's really easy to watch the way the narration and the story goes. And as much as Wes Anderson's done a lot of good movies, some maybe close to as good as this one, I think this is still like my favorite Wes Anderson movie and one of my all-time favorite movies. And it's just one that I can't really it's almost perfect to me. The music, it's got a great score, and I think Gene Hackman is so funny. His role as Royal Tenenbaum is what really seals it. It really
There's a pretty big cast in there too.
Great cast, yeah. And that's the one, I think that's what seals it. Gene Hackman's role as Royal Tenenbaum is very, very funny. And it's just a great movie. It's Wes Anderson, if you like Wes Anderson, I think you would like this movie.
I was looking up, I forgot, so he's the guy that did the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that was
And he has a new movie just came out. I really want to see it. I need to. It's not on Redbox. I'll probably have to
Licorice Pizza.
Oh, is that him?
Wait, say it again.
Licorice Pizza.
Did you know Philip Seymour Hoffman's son is in that movie?
Licorice Pizza. I don't know about that.
I've heard of Licorice Pizza. He did that one? Didn't realize.
I don't think he did that one.
Let me see.
That movie looked kind of.
Oh, Paul Thomas Anderson. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not seeing that. Colin, the latest one. Okay, he did one called The French Dispatch.
The French Dispatch. Yeah, I was saying like some newspaper thing. Yeah, The French Dispatch with another stacked cast.
Yeah, I see the poster here. A lot of people.
Yeah, so
he did Isle of Dogs too.
Isle of Dogs.
Life Aquatic.
Isle of Dogs is his worst movie in my opinion.
Really?
Isle of Dogs, we stopped watching before it ended because it was boring. It was boring. I think every other movie he's done is far from boring. But I think for me personally, Isle of Dogs sucked. Fantastic Mr. Fox is cool. Life Aquatic's pretty good, pretty fun. Moonrise Kingdom's one of his best movies. Grand Budapest Hotel is one of his best movies. Rushmore is an awesome movie. I mean, I think he's one of the best directors of the day. Like top 3, at least top 5, but maybe top 3. And
the thing I don't like about him is that his style is just so pronounced that it kind of overwhelms the stories, and they just kind of start to blend into each other.
I can see that. I know what you mean. Yeah, I can see that. I like it myself, but yeah, it does. It kind of overshadows the story in a way. And yeah,
I love Grand Budapest Hotel is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I think that I saw that once, and I think I saw The Life Aquatic. I remember being underwhelmed by The Life Aquatic.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of his better movies, but I think it's good. I think the Darjeeling Limited is probably one of his weaker, although even that's like better than your average movie, I would say. But I think Isle of Dogs was bad. Darjeeling Limited, okay. And Life Aquatic, pretty good. But a lot of his movies are like real top tier, I think. Yeah, Rushmore, World Tenenbaums. The girl in Rushmore, the woman in Rushmore, if no one's probably seen it, but I always thought she would be the perfect Lara Croft. Like she looked like her. Her accent sounded
Who
like
is
her.
she? Let me
I
look.
don't remember her name though.
Olivia Williams?
Maybe. I can look at
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's her. I've seen her in different things before.
Yes, Olivia Williams. I think she's Laura Croft. At this point, she's too old. But 20 years ago, I think she would have been a good Laura Croft. But that's my top 5.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, World Tenenbaums, Black Hawk Down, Memento. I forget the other one.
We were just talking about it.
What was the title of it again?
That's all right.
It was hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Cowboy Bebop, because
That's it. That's right. It's because you
Oh.
mentioned that one first. I forgot that one.
Yeah.
Artur, have you settled on your top?
Okay, well, technically it would have to be 6, and they're kind of all they're just out of order. They don't really have any like different positions because they could change anytime. I have only one honorable mention, and that's Enemy at the Gate. That's an honorable mention, and then everything else is Black Hawk Down, Memento, Training Day, Harry Potter, Brotherhood of the Wolf, and Cowboy Bebop.
woo!
Of course, makes the list.
I mean, it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was good. It was long, actually. It was like 2 hours
Mhm.
long, I think, or an hour and 50. It was on up there.
I still think it holds up, like the animation, like today, 20 years
Well,
ago.
I remember asking you. I said, "Is the show animated as well as this?" Because it's really good.
Yeah,
It is. It's
Same.
just the movie's more. It seems like it has more of a higher budget.
More
yeah,
detail.
I would agree
yeah.
with that. It's the same animation team. I think they're just able to do a bit more.
Yeah.
But watching the show, I never feel like they're in any way like not able to do whatever they want. That's why I love the show. Is like it's so creative. There's so much cool shit. You should definitely watch animated Bebop if you like the movie.
I will. I'll get around to it for sure. I got to finish the live action. I think I've got I'm on episode 8 now, maybe.
Yeah, the 9 and 10 I was so excited about, and then it's like I couldn't admit it to myself, but they were disappointing. It took a couple days for me to they weren't that bad. They had weak moments, but but now I'm like, no, they were pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be there.
You already get to the part about the crazy
Pierre
circle guy with the hat and the beard.
Pierre LeFou.
No, I don't know.
Oh, you haven't gotten to him yet?
I don't know. I can't think of who you're talking.
He was I thought I mentioned before. He was the one that kind of freaked me out, or not freaked me out, but kind of was scary.
Is he even
at least
in
the anime?
Is he
Yeah,
even
he
in
is.
He is. Okay.
He is in that. Yeah.
Well, if
You
I've
mean
seen him,
Pierre LeFou.
Is that what he is? Yeah, like the one he's like always grinning.
Yeah, I think that was episode 8 because he's laughing all the time. He's almost like a skull face, like his jaw's always like.
Okay, I don't think
I stepped away for a second. He's talking about Cowboy Bebop again.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Join in on
Yeah,
the club, Simon.
Watch it.
Invader, we did. I mentioned the one earlier. I enjoyed that. I thought it was pretty good. That was an interesting because it was about multiverses basically, parallel universes. It was kind of interesting.
Do we want to move on to the shows now?
We can. There were actually a lot of good shows that started in 2001.
Mm-hmm. Well, 24 started.
24 started.
Alias started.
Alias started.
Now, is that okay? I've only seen bits of it, but is Alias and 24 worth watching?
So the first few seasons are good, and then they drop off. Alias started off, man, the first season of Alias was like, holy cow, I love this show. And Jennifer Garner was just so awesome and such a good actress. And she was so cool and kick-ass. And the stories were really nice. They were awesome. And then after about season 3, it starts to kind of tumble downhill, I felt like. And the same thing with 24. 24 started off really good, and it was so good. And I think it was after season 4, maybe, or season 5 that they just went on a few seasons too long. Like after a bit, it was just like they overdid so much stuff. But they're good. The problem is if you stop, it's hard to stop because there's cliffhangers sort of, or a snag for the next season that makes you want to keep watching, and then you keep watching, and you're like, crap, it's terrible.
That's and Invader Zim did, that's a Nickelodeon show that did start in 2001. Yeah, even Fairly Odd Parents started that year.
I'll be right back, but I've got 2 comedy series I definitely want to mention.
Okay, all right.
Well, that's the thing. The law, like you kind of don't want it to end, but on the other hand, if you keep dragging it, then it's going to get like repetitive.
It's pretty rare that a series can stay solid the whole way through, because it's like they either wear out their welcome, they go on too long, or
Fullmetal Alchemist may be one example,
or they stop too soon, or they get canceled. Let's say they get canceled too soon.
Yeah.
But Alias, the first few seasons were really good. And also Justice League, Arturo. That started.
Oh yeah, we did see that one. That was a really good cartoon.
And Samurai Jack started in 2000.
Yeah, Samurai Jack. It's surprising that these shows are that old. And Grimmer Benjamin, Billy and Mandy.
Oh yeah, I saw that when I was going through the list, but I didn't write it down.
There was
one that surprised me was Trailer Park Boys. I had no idea that was been running for so long.
Is it still on?
It
was 2001 to 2018.
Oh wow!
Wait a minute. Totally Spies started in 2001.
Yeah, I think so.
And then have you ever heard of Reba?
Reba. I actually wrote that down because I noticed Star Trek Enterprise, which I never really watched that, but I wrote Reba down because it's a comedy show and I'm not into comedy, but for some reason I really like that show. And I think part of it might have had something to do with the fact that I believe I don't know when it came out, but I think I started watching it at some point after 9/11. I was so freaking depressed and upset and just down, and that show kind of brought a little bit of laughter back in to the world. It felt like, and plus it was just funny. The dynamic between the different characters in there was really good.
The Office started the UK version.
Wait,
Ricky.
Was it the UK version? Okay.
Yeah, 2001. Ricky.
Ricky Gervais. I saw The Office, but for some reason I was thinking it was the one from over here. No, it was the Ricky Gervais one.
One of my favorite live action shows of 2001 is Band of Brothers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that still holds up today. Like you could sit there and watch and you're like, was this really made in 2001?
Well, it's a period piece, so.
Yeah, but like the way they shot it, it looks like, that they had a lot of actors in there that, would later become like these big, well-known actors. Jimmy Fallon made an appeance.
Tom Hardy.
He introduced me to something that now I already know. And
the dude who played Sherlock.
Young Professor X.
No, the dude who
Benedict
played
Cumberbatch.
No, the guy who played his nemesis starts with an M. No. Moriarty.
Moriarty. He's in there. Yeah, he's in. It's got. I said it's got a Professor X, the young Professor X. What's his name? It's got him. It's also got young Magneto.
Yep.
It's got him, and it's got
several people.
It's got the guy. He was in Sonic the Hedgehog for a little bit. The military guy.
I can't remember who that was.
He was the one talking with Jim Carrey's character.
I know, but I don't remember. I don't remember who.
If you see his face, you know what I'm talking. It's also got the brother of what's his name?
Oh, the guy. Wahlberg. Donnie Wahlberg. Uh-huh.
It's got him.
It's got the dude.
Oh yeah. Abraham. Who's Deanna?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Got him.
That's right.
I don't give a monkey's left nut.
Oh jeez. That guy, yeah.
It's got him. It's also got the main guy that plays in Band of Brothers. We've seen him around. Yeah. But to be honest, this is like the only show that I've seen him in that I've only seen him in.
He was in a show that lasted for quite a while here. I think it was called Life. I never really watched it all the way through. One episode. It's
got another guy too that you may recognize, but there's also the other guy that's kind of funny in Band of Brothers. He was in Justified.
The guy who plays sort of the bad guy in Justified?
No, not him. I don't know if he worked at like at a jail or something. I'm not sure. I just remember seeing a promo of one of the episodes of Justified, and I'm like, oh, that guy was in Band of Brothers. He played like a radio guy.
Oh, okay. I probably know him if I saw his face.
It had the guy also from Supernatural too, the funny demon.
Oh yeah, that guy. I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him. And I thought, it's even got he only appeared in one episode. He was a German general, but he was in the Raiders of the Lost Ark as a German officer.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah, but to be honest, he also appeared in For Tins of Navarone as a German guy.
Well, he's being typecast. Is he German?
And guess what? You know that movie about the girl that goes into Germany? It was a 92 movie.
Yeah.
He was in that. He was in the scene where the guy, the love interest, had to escape out in the train station.
Okay.
He's one of the guys that he shot in that room.
Oh, okay.
When he was making his escape, he played like Nazi soldiers or Nazi generals or something like that. I'm like,
oh goodness,
wow,
okay.
And there's also this Australian actor that's in it too. There's like a few. And the guy from the first Conjuring, he's also in it.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that I told you about.
Wait. The first Conjuring.
The first Conjuring. Yeah, he was the husband of the
husband of the woman in the house.
Ron Livingston. That's why I couldn't really take Band of Brothers seriously. Because I knew him Office Space.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I had the same feeling where like, it felt he didn't feel right as a soldier. He's so like such a slacker, so it doesn't.
There was a funny scene with him where like it's near the end of the war, and he's like he gets an envelope from his wife, like she's pretty much divorcing him and taking the dog, and he's like, she doesn't even like the dog or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one you told me about. Yeah. Maybe one of these days I'll finish that.
Brothers. It's also got the guy from he showed up in a Doctor Who episode.
Aw. That's a white fluffy cat.
Gandalf.
Very fluffy.
We love Lord of the Rings.
That's a perfect name.
Gandalf the White.
Right.
Yeah, it's got the guy from Doctor Who. He was the one who was like a boyfriend to the girl that was in Harry Potter. That's the ghost.
Oh, okay. Wow, I don't remember his face, Arturo. I don't remember his face.
He was in Doctor Who.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember his face.
Was. And in Band, he was the one that kind of was a little odd, he kind of went blind at one point because of some shock.
It's been so long since I saw any of those episodes, so I don't remember.
Overall, though, I just think it still holds up today. You could watch it, you won't even know it was a 2001 show. It's like a high production. I mean, Steven Spielberg worked on it. Come on.
You haven't even seen The Pacific.
No, I want to watch that.
Oh, Pacific was there was a few scenes in Pacific that haunted me.
Really?
I heard that he really showed the Japanese kind of pretty much did the same tactics that the Taliban did. Just put civilians in front with bombs strapped to them or something.
Yeah,
is that depicted in The Pacific?
From what I've heard, what Jackson said, my friend Jackson, he's seen it.
There's some brutal scenes. I feel like near the end when they're closing in on, I don't know if it was Okinawa or something, but it was just like, oh man, it was, yeah.
Oh, you talk about the beach scene where it's like
No, it was more like
D-Day massacre.
I don't think that. I remember it was like a city. It's nighttime. The city's on fire, and like someone's crawling around like on the street, like wounded, and they just get shot and die. And it felt like horror. Like it felt like, oh my god, like I hate war. Any good movie makes you hate war. Like I don't know how people do it. Like, there was a movie about a medic with Mel Gibson directed. I wish I could.
Andrew Garfield played it.
Yes, yeah. That was a really good movie about war.
Oh, I forgot the name of that, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Bridge or something.
Hacksaw Ridge?
Hacksaw Ridge. That's the one. That's a great war film. One of the better war films I've ever seen.
I heard it was good, but I haven't. I'm not super crazy about war films either.
Yeah.
Now,
but I heard it was really good.
The Pacific also has well-known actors too.
Arturo, you forgot to mention that Jimmy Fallon was in Band of Brothers.
I mentioned Jimmy Fallon was in Band of Brothers.
Oh, did you? It went right over my head. Okay.
But yeah, I would say Band of Brothers is still a good television show.
I watched it once many years ago, and it was very cinematic, high quality. I liked it, and I probably it's been long enough I could watch it again.
Yeah, the only episode I probably would not rewatch is probably episode, what was it, 9, 10, or it's the one about when they find one of the death camps. That's depressing.
Oh yeah.
And the actor that played the guy that played Abraham in Walking Dead, remember we went to his panel?
Yeah.
And he was saying how some sort of like relationship when it came to that, like the filming process of the movie.
You mean
interesting but horrible series. Or something like that. Kind of like that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he talked about it.
Okay, he says episode 9 was the camp one.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Oh, another show that came out that got me into vampires, Hellsing.
Oh, Hellsing was 2001.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
A crazy version of Dracula, if that's what
I love Crispin Freeman in there.
He's so good.
He is good.
And his laugh too. I just like when
I had written down Smallville. Smallville was brought up. That thing went on forever. And also 6 Feet Under came out in 2001.
Oh my gosh.
I'm smoking. That was me smoking.
That was you smoking? What, this picture?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I thought it meant something else.
According to Jim, also, and Law and Order. We talked about Law and Order and Crossing Jordan, which was a show I used to like to watch. And the Bernie Mac show came out in 2001. Those were the main, big ones that I noticed when I was going through the list.
Oh, we didn't mention the biggest one of all.
What?
I got to mention, there's 2 comedies this year. Huge. And I'm hoping Joe is listening. Because I'm always like, I know you guys aren't as into the comedy, but for me, with TV...
Well, it depends on what it is. It's I don't mind some comedies if it's done right.
Right. For me, TV is 90% comedy. But The Office, BBC.
Yeah, we did. We mentioned that. I think you were out.
Okay,
yeah.
Have you guys watched that one?
I have not seen any of I've only seen bits and pieces of The Office just because maybe somebody else is watching it or whatever. I've never really watched it.
The original.
Yeah, no, I've only seen clips of it online.
It's worth it. I've watched it.
Or like Ricky Gervais.
I mean, the whole series is 12 episodes. It's
it didn't go very long.
Seasons, which is that's how British always do their stuff. They do 2 or 3 seasons and they're done. But
ours went on longer, I think.
They're smarter when it comes to stuff like that. Now they got some stuff that's going on freaking forever, but they generally know when to wrap up the story.
It's syndication that makes everything so long in America.
Yeah, gotta hit that number.
Yeah.
But
so what's the other one?
BBC though is it holds up, and Ricky Gervais. I've been watching the Ricky Gervais show, the animated where they talk to Carl Pilkington, and it's so funny, and I'm just loving that. I'm binge watching that. Ricky Gervais is so funny in The Office. It holds up. I've watched it probably half a dozen times. It's really funny. Like Ricky Gervais is so good. It's really good, and Martin Freeman's in it. So
yeah, that's right. I saw clips of. I think I was recently watching like some bloopers or something with him in The Office, and I didn't realize until then. But him ripping into, oh yes, that was absolutely amazing. I've always known. Well, I mean, I've known for years that he would do that kind of stuff. So then when he went to the Golden Globes and did what he did, and it was just like it was exploding all over Twitter. I was like, I love it that he did that. I thought it was amazing.
Ricky Gervais. Well, actually, I was gonna say Martin Freeman really. He's kind of helps make. He's like the heart of the show. He helps make it like more related, so like Jim does. And the American.
So his character, like, what's the American version of Martin Freeman's character? Is that
John
Krasinski?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like the normal person that's relatable and likable. He has a crush on the secretary.
All right.
And he helps make the show like more human because the rest of them are like Ricky Gervais. You're supposed to kind of, even more so than Steve Carell, he's like unlikable. Like you're kind of laughing at him. But he's so good. And sorry.
Hang on. Stephen Fry had an interview where he was asked what's the difference between British humor and American humor. And he said that American humor tends to be the guy who sort of always comes out on top because he's like the smartest guy in the room and he's like most charming, biggest dick, everything like that. Whereas British humor is like the trodden on guy, the browbeaten guy, like what's his name? His character's name? David Brent.
Yeah.
So it's like in what's it called? Animal House. You've got Bluto, who comes up with the folk singer, playing the guitar in the stairs, smashes the guitar. Well, that's the American sort of hero.
Yeah.
The guy who's just kind of the bulldogs in, whereas the British comedian would want to be the guy playing the guitar. Also, Ricky Gervais was on Graham Norton show recently, and they said that he did the Golden Globes 5 times over 10 years. And at the start, the press were like, how could you say such a thing? This is like
right.
These poor people. And then by the end, they were like, oh, fuck these guys. Go for it.
That's awesome.
It's funny. It was so funny when they would cut over and show some of the faces, the expressions on their face. Like Tom Hanks at one point was like,
Kate Blanchett was on that show. And she said,
on the Graham Norton. Okay.
Yeah, with Ricky Gervais. And she's like, when you were doing that, you mentioned Harvey Weinstein, and they cut to me. And I'm like, what the fuck? No.
That's funny.
Ricky Gervais, the more I find out about him, like, he's really funny. He's really a down-to-earth, like, sweet and caring person. He's really smart and talented. And, I mean, he's worked on and made all sorts of shows. Like, he's hardworking and gets a lot. He's made a lot of. He's prolific, and but I think he's very funny and down to earth in a way that I like. He's like, the more you hear about, like, he's a genuinely kind, like, considerate person. I think, which is just rare for that to come across in celebrities. Where I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is a good guy right here. Like, I don't like. It's hard to act like it. It's easy to act like it, but it's hard to act like it all the time. I guess is what it's easy to make virtue signaling, but it's hard to, like, never slip up, like, to always be real and to never come across as like a dick. So I really like Ricky Gervais. I think he's a good guy.
Well, he also doesn't seem to me, and I don't know, maybe it's all an act, but he doesn't seem to me to be somebody that's full of himself.
Oh, no.
You know, and that's one of the things I really like about him.
Yeah.
And he's got a really quirky sense of humor, which is what I picked up. Like, I think the very first thing I might have seen him in was Night at the Museum.
Yeah, that was my first experience.
And he was so funny in there because he was such a butt, but he was hilarious.
Yes.
And I was like, this guy. And then I watched him in the movie where was it called Ghost Town or something?
Yeah, where he's seeing like ghosts.
Oh, that movie.
But you know what? what's funny is that you found a video of when he was very young singing, and this was like
in the 80s. Like a pop star.
Yeah,
like,
and he looked so handsome.
Really?
Well, he doesn't look bad now. He's just
no. But back
older.
then, it's like how Johnny Depp looks so young.
He doesn't look like he doesn't even look like the same person.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm gonna Google that. No, I'll be right back.
You were like I remember how it was when you were like shocked. It's like what? He doesn't look anything like he does now.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, about Macross. I heard that they did weird things with that series.
I've never even heard of that, so I have no. Is that
it was that movie that I went to go see with my friends?
Oh, okay.
Okay, I gotta click on this young Ricky.
Yeah, just look it up. Ricky Gervais pop idol. He doesn't look like Ricky Gervais.
No.
Charles, you never saw that movie with him in it where he was the dentist that could see dead people. Did you?
I know bits of it, not all of it.
It doesn't even seem real.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
Like what? Who is this person?
Wow.
Is it really Ricky Gervais?
It looks like David Bowie or something. Like little thing.
You might want to link that in the YouTube chat so people know what we're laughing at.
Can you put it? Yeah, no. Can you put it in the chat, Colin?
I'm laughing at the fact that
only you can.
Ricky Gervais was so handsome back then.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Okay, hold on. Which video are you looking at? Oh, you could put it in the private chat, can't you? And then I
guess we can type in private, but we can't.
Okay, you put here. Here's young Ricky Gervais. I just crazy. All right, I'm gonna put up the picture. I'll put the picture up for the people in the regular chat. It really just does not. And there's video of him singing somewhere because they played that on like he was like a guest on some talk show and they played it, and I was like, that was when I first found out about it. I was like, what? It was so funny. But Archer, you should watch that movie. The ghost movie. It's really good.
If you know it's him, you can see the similarities. But like, if you didn't know it was him, you would never ever guess that was.
He definitely has a David Bowie look there, for sure.
Yeah, man. Okay, so then I've got to talk about one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and I'm hoping someone's heard about this. Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, someone mentioned. Was that you, Simon?
It was, yeah. I had no idea it was running from 2001. To me, it's like a fairly recent phenomenon, like within the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard about it, so.
Have you watched it?
No.
Oh man, it's worth it. It's so good. And the coolest thing I think about it, well, I shouldn't say that. One interesting thing about it is that, you know, the BBC Office we were just talking about kind of got credit for like bringing that whole talk to the camera pseudo documentary style to the forefront or whatever. Like Trailer Park Boys actually started doing that before the British Office. Like they came out the same year, and as you can see on IMDb, and Trailer Park Boys actually started production, I think, before the British one, which is to say that they weren't copying, they were doing their own thing. Trailer Park Boys it's the same. It's pseudo documentary. It's like this documentary crew following these guys around. They have interviews with the camera. The show, it takes place in Canada, and it's these three friends that live in a trailer park, the Trailer Park Boys, and they're always doing petty crimes because they just, you know, instead of having real jobs, they're always doing petty crimes and going to jail, and they're always like smoking weed, drinking, smoking cigarettes, and they're really, two of them are really dumb. One of them is really dumb, and it's just really funny. And it's something about it, it's just so real, the way it's kind of documentary style, and the way they're just walking around this trailer park, smoking cigarettes, drinking, talking about weed, doing little crimes, that it just feels so much more real and relatable than almost any other network TV show. That feels like there's the filter between the audience and the production where they're like, we got to make sure this is okay for TV, you know. Trailer Park Boys is like, it really feels like they're just walking around filming these dumb assholes that curse, smoke, and commit crimes, and it's so fun and it's so funny. It's hard to, like, I remember my friend when I told him about it, he's like, I guess I'll check. Like, it doesn't sound like a good show, but when you start watching it, the actors and the characters are so funny. that it hooks you in. And I think it's definitely a top 10 all-time comedy series. Like, if you don't know about it, if you like comedy, you don't know about it, you've got to watch it.
I don't even remember if I'd ever heard of it.
I was actually going to say, Sin, I mean, I know comedy is not always your thing and we don't have the same taste, but if you ever want to watch a comedy, like if you did Google YouTube Ricky-isms, like Trailer Park Boy Ricky-isms, because he's always like saying things wrong, like get two birds stoned at once, you know, survival.
Sounds like an Archie Bunker type of guy.
So would you say the BBC version is... I was just going to say, is the BBC version better than the American one?
Oh, he's not talking about The Office.
As far as this, I'm talking about Trailer Park Boys now.
Show.
Well, I thought you were talking about The Office.
I was a second ago, and then I started
comparing like the style.
Because they both are pseudo documentaries.
Yeah.
And I would say neither of them copied the other. They both happened to come out with it at the same time. Because one's in Canada, one's in Britain. I doubt, you know, it's like Real World and other stuff. It's not like it was the most original idea. They just both kind of tapped into it at the same time. And Trailer Park Boys is so
if you like British comedies, have you seen Peep Show or Black Books?
Wait, Black Books? Wait.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen. Is Peep Show have Dave Barry in it?
No.
No. Okay, I love Dave Barry. I don't know. I didn't watch Peep Show. Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Okay, I might watch it then. I didn't like the preview. You know, it's one of those things I saw one preview for it and I wasn't interested, so I just kind of wrote it off.
I'll link the first episodes for both in the Discord.
Okay. I'll check it out. I love some comedy.
It's on Hulu, Amazon, and the Roku channel. It's what it says here on a quick search for it. Wow, that went on for a good while. From 2003 to 2015.
TPB, Trailer Park Boys. Yeah.
No, Peep Show.
Oh, Peep Show. Sorry.
Sorry.
Well, there's only like 7 seasons. They skipped a couple of years.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Trailer Park Boys. So I could really go on and on. It's one of those shows, you know, I quote all the time. I've rewatched it many times. It really is like it's as good as it gets. And they did 7 seasons in Canada, and they got canceled. And then they became kind of a cult hit. And then Netflix brought them back a few years later as a Netflix show. And then they did like another 4 or 5 seasons with Netflix. Then they did an animated series on Netflix for 2 or 3 seasons. So there's a ton of content. I would say that all the best stuff is those first 7 seasons. Like the Netflix series is good. But the ultimate shit was that first 7 seasons. Some of it's just some of the funniest stuff I've seen in television is in Trailer Park Boys. And just long cuts, you know, where it just really like, oh man, there's the physical comedy. One of the all-time great scenes where Ricky decides to be a handyman, make some honest cash. So a neighbor's like, you need to put in this towel holder, you know, like a little ring to put a towel on in the bathroom. And by the end of it, Ricky has torn out the entire wall of the bathroom, destroyed the plumbing, like poured this, like he's damaged the thing as bad as you can. And it's the way that it feels so natural. I'm going on too much, but I could keep going.
I can tell you really like that show.
Really, really good. Yeah, it's one of my.
Have you guys seen Undeclared? Dulce Maris has brought this up a couple of times.
I think I watched it 1 episode, but I can't do school stuff. I feel like if I remember correctly, it took place like in a school or with like high school. And I just like, once I get old, now that I'm older, I can't really do, like I can't relate to teenagers anymore, I guess.
I had it pulled up here. I was going to look and see. I don't remember. I had it pulled up. Now I've closed out the tab. Dang it. Undeclared.
Well, I don't know if Joe's still there. If Joe has ever watched Trailer Park Boys.
Joe, where are you?
Yeah, it's kind of a school-ish show. A guy and his dorm mates.
Yeah.
Artur, have you heard of that? Beyblade?
Wait. Anime apparently started to would never have guessed that it. Huh. Let me see a picture.
Yeah, dorm stuff.
I recognize it, but I don't remember if I've seen it. It might have played on Cartoon Network back in the day. It's got that early 2000 look, coming out of the 90s and into the 2000s. There's a very distinct style to their animations.
So that was a series or
Yeah.
Oh, it looks kind of crazy.
It's kind of cartoony.
Yeah.
But can you just tell it's early 2000s art style?
I don't know how to say. Is that Dulcimerist?
Well, I've been saying
Dulcimerist.
But I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Dulcimer. So Dulcimerist.
Okay, so yeah, it's Dulcimerist and Joe. It's a Trailer Park Boys is on Netflix now, streaming every season. Check it out. I think it's one of those episodes that the first episode is a pretty good representation of the show, and it does get better. I think, at season 3 or 4 or 5, but it's pretty good all throughout the 7 seasons, and you can get a taste of it right away. But that's one of my go-to rewatches. It's Trailer Park Boys. Oh, Bubbles! Bubbles loves his cats. He loves Bubbles. He's one of the main 3.
Oh.
And he loves kitties.
This is a question I would not know the answer to.
Something's fucky. Something's fucky. I think that sounds like Ricky.
Is it one of the more popular animes? I'm familiar with this name.
I've never heard it, but that doesn't mean much.
Part of me feels like I might have seen it on Cartoon Network, but to be honest, I'm getting it confused with others that looked kind of similar to that at the time. Gosh, I feel pretty old thinking about the 2000s.
Oh, please. What were you going to say, Simon?
I wasn't.
Oh, I think you had started to say something.
No, he chuckled. That's what he did.
That's probably what it is.
I'm happy the lab has a Patrice reaction up. It's the only other reaction channel I think I've talked about it before.
That's a toy store that sells them. It's pretty big in Asia.
I need to watch more Patrice. I haven't seen. Was that you that linked?
I sent you that link.
Yeah.
Face Off.
Yeah. Okay. I put it in my to watch list, so maybe that'll be one of my next. I haven't filmed a comedy thing in a little bit.
I never saw Joe Dirt, and it's because I don't like David Spade that much.
I think it was mentioned just briefly.
Without
earlier.
Chris Farley by his side, he's a little too snarky, and so I never saw Joe Dirt. Saving Silverman, I did like. Jack Black was in it, and I love Jack Black. I don't remember. Amanda Peet, I think. Jason Biggs. I think I remember liking it, but it not being... it's not like Dumb and Dumber tier. It was all right. I think I watched it a couple times.
It's not saying much comparing it to Dumb and Dumber.
Oh,
not to me.
I never watched Workaholics. I've seen it once or twice. To me, Workaholics was just. I haven't probably watched enough to diss on it, but from what little I saw, it was just more juvenile almost. I think Trailer Park Boys. It sounds stupid because it's probably the most juvenile show ever, but I think it's more mature because it feels more like grown dudes walking around, smoking, drinking, talking shit, doing little crimes. It doesn't feel like for teenagers at all, really, even though I think teenagers totally love it. It feels a little mature to me for some reason. But again, I don't really know about Workaholics, but I don't know of anything that's like Trailer Park Boys. I can't think of any show that's in the same realm of it feels like you're chilling with your friends, smoking weed. I love it.
It lasted for a good while.
I think the comedies from 2001, though, Zoolander, I liked. We mentioned that. I think it's not great, but it was pretty good for a popular comedy. And what was that other one?
It seems to be really popular. Like it seems to be very highly regarded. It's often mentioned.
I think it is. It's worth returning to. I know lots of comedies.
I don't think I ever saw it once because,
I think it's good. But yeah, it's not. Mila Jovovich is in it too. It's one of my favorite.
Oh, I didn't realize she was in that.
She's got a little role, not a big role. It's dumb, but it's fun. I like Zoolander. And Super Troopers was, I think, one of the I really like a better comedy from that year that I like.
Every time I hear Super Troopers, I confuse it with Starship Troopers.
They're
both not the same thing at all. Okay.
This isn't film or show related, but anybody here played Conker's Bad Fur Day?
What?
No, I remember that it's a game.
It's an N64 game.
Oh, did that
and
come out?
Yeah, like it was kind of one of the last, like that and Paper Mario were like the last like N64 games to come out this year. But Conker's Bad Fur Day has like these crazy like references to pop culture. Like there's one level where you're kind of doing a Matrix thing, and then the other one is like a Saving Private Ryan D-Day scene.
Wasn't it he cursed or something?
Yeah, it was a Rare game. This is a company that worked for Nintendo, but they took like Conker was supposed to be like a nice family friendly video game character.
Yeah, because he's cursing in this game. It's a kid's game, and he's cursing.
No, I guess they kind of wanted to do something different, so they kind of went with that style. Made him very like vulgar and stuff.
What was it rated?
M.
Oh. Okay.
But
maybe it wasn't a kid's game then. I guess it had the appearance of a kid's game, but it was.
I heard it's really good, but good night, scalpers be scalpers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even find any
poo in it.
What?
It's got a singing poo in it. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Really?
Yeah.
It's got some weird. It's got some crazy. Like there's this one time where he's talking to this big gigantic turd, and then this turd's like singing something, and it's saying like some stuff, blah blah blah, shitty something or other. It's a crazy game.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds crazy.
But I want to play it.
Halo was also released in 2001.
Yeah.
Metal Gear
Solid.
No, I know. I know. I haven't seen the trailer yet, but it looks like something that I might find interesting. So, but I don't. Is it coming on Paramount Plus or is it coming somewhere else?
Oh,
I think it's Paramount Plus.
Ah, dang it! Well,
besides Metal Gear Solid.
Also, Sony just bought Bungie.
See that?
What is
Arabic script is
Sorry,
like
Bungie is the development studio that made Halo.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So PlayStation stealing Halo from Microsoft. Oh, the war goes on.
Yeah, there's like a well, okay, yeah. They Microsoft. I thought they bought out. They bought out Activision, and then Sony bought Bungie.
I love that Arabic script.
I have no idea. I feel like it's spam. I have no clue what
I think it's the prettiest looking of whatever writing words is called. Cuneiform. I don't know. Calligraphy. It's the prettiest calligraphy of all the languages, I believe.
It just looks like
I don't know if that's the one I'm thinking of. It's a type of Arabic similar to that, I think. It's like real flowy and pretty looking. Also Japanese is cool looking. It's all like kind of simple strokes. Chinese shit is
it's not quite as curvy and flowy as Arabic. It's more sharp lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff has a little more lines than the. Yeah, I was thinking the Arabic shit is kind of like this, but it's even more flowy. I like how that looks, though.
He's probably cussing us out or spamming us about political stuff. I'm seeing 1948.
There's all these
Iraq. I have no idea, and I can't copy it and put it in the translator.
I agree. I mean, I agree with everything he's saying. Like
You
he's
do?
bringing up a lot of good points.
He,
And I think it's really like
he actually he's 3 of his things are all copies.
Yeah, and he says something about Iraq. That's the only thing. That's the only difference. Everything else, all these 3 columns are the same.
But Colin agrees, so there we go.
Metal Gear.
Maybe just an English speaker clearing his throat.
That's it.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, and Final Fantasy X, and Silent Hill 2.
video game time.
Yeah. All those classics that came out. And
wait, did you say Grand Theft Auto 3 or was that last time?
That was this year.
I think it came out this year.
Because that was for me like one of the like high watermarks of video games in my life was Grand Theft Auto 3. Like it'd be up in the top 5 gaming experiences ever. I remember being at like a friend's house and he had it, like an older brother of a friend, and just watching him play it, like, holy shit, you can do all this in that game? Like, I've got.
Was that you or Simon that put up the thing about Terminator 2 and Grand Theft Auto?
Oh, that was me.
That was Simon.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. I put it in my to
be honest, this was actually the first this year was the first introduction to Microsoft jumping into the console war.
Yeah.
Sega was pretty much. Yeah, Sega pretty much lost the game.
Sega
the
left.
only way they were going to survive was to actually. I forgot the CEO did something, or the founder of Sega did something. I mean, he ended up later passing away, but he used all his savings to pretty much save the company. But yeah, they couldn't make any more consoles by that point. Dreamcast died. Microsoft is pretty much the baby of the console wars because they started.
I'm surprised the Xbox lasted this long. I remember it came out like, dude, PlayStation is where it's at. We can't have another PlayStation.
It's still around, yeah.
It's still, and so they're both still here. I guess gaming's really taken off. It's just only
it has. And
I was a PC gamer at the time, so I had my if I were to betting that, I'd bet on Xbox because they had both markets.
Yeah, it's probably smarter.
Because that PS2 ended up beating them in that regard, like with the sales numbers.
Yeah,
I don't remember if Xbox. I think Xbox might have been second place. GameCube was like third.
PS2 is the best-selling console of all time.
I remember I got a PS2 that Christmas because of Grand Theft Auto 3. That was, of all games in the world, that was the game I had to. Because I remember it was Christmas, and I was like, all right, I think I'm getting a console. Which one do I want? It's got to be, because we had enough. I got a console, but we didn't have like 2 or 3. It wasn't like the kids that had all the consoles. And so
the Dreamcast.
We had the PS2. But Grand Theft Auto was the reason I got PS2, and also got Metal Gear Solid 2 that same Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's such an awesome game.
Yeah, that game. Between those, oh man, that was a good Christmas. Those 2 games. But yeah, man, Grand Theft Auto it changed the game. It raised the bar so high. From
that was Rockstar.
Oh man.
I imagine PlayStation is the king, right?
Well, I think it still holds that. Like I know when it came to the PS2, Xbox, GameCube, PS1 was like at the top. Like by the end of the PS2 era, it sold pretty much like 10 times the amount than the Xbox or GameCube.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, Nintendo was at the top. And then, Sega came and that was a competition. And then Sony decided to come and they kind of started to catch up with Nintendo. And then by the 21st century, PlayStation was pretty much on top. But then they had the competition with Microsoft, which was funny this same year. So Sega, they pulled out of the console war, and Microsoft came in. And they were supposed to make some sort of deal with a new console, but that never happened. Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Do you guys remember? Dulcimeris is asking if you guys remember the Atari Jaguar. I don't remember the Jaguar. I just remember the Atari, like the early with the joysticks and everything.
It was meant to be a 64-bit console, but it chose cartridges rather than CDs, so it was kind of behind the times that way.
You mean Nintendo 64? Yeah.
Atari's completely over with now, right? It's completely out of it. Really?
It publishes games.
Like Sega, it's gone to be a game.
Yeah, I've seen them publish titles. That's about it.
It's really a brand name more than anything nowadays. It's not really.
It features a lot in Black Lotus.
Yeah.
You see the symbol all the time, on the buildings, the billboards.
I just feel like that's a little outdated.
Yeah, I know.
Unless in this universe, Atari is the #1 biggest company.
Oh, interesting.
Nice. I've had 3 consoles in my life: the Super Nintendo as a kid, PS2 as a teen, and then nothing after. I got rid of my PS2 when I was 20, and then last year I got the Switch. So I went my whole adult life. I didn't have a console.
You have now is the Switch.
But now I play the Switch constantly.
What do you play on the Switch?
Fortnite. Fortnite. I do have Super Smash Bros. I have played it, not a lot. I actually play this game Streets of Rage 4 more often. It's really fun.
Then maybe I need to add you on so we could have a live stream about playing Smash.
We could try. You'd probably destroy me.
Aurelia has live streams about Smash.
We could try it.
They're fun. She destroys me.
She pretty much kills anybody that she plays with in Smash.
But see, that's what's cool about Smash. You got all these iconic game characters that started from the 90s, early 2000s, and they just put, like, can you imagine, like, Cloud from Final Fantasy facing off against Mario in a Metal Gear Solid backdrop? Like, how is that possible?
It's pretty sweet.
Or Pac-Man and Mega Man.
Okay, Simon.
The Switch.
Simon.
I would say to wrap up 2001, I would say it's a really good year for a lot of this content we talked about. The only downside was what happened in New York, which
I wasn't a big deal.
I was in work when I found out about it, and I'd never heard of the Two Towers before. You know, it just wasn't on my radar.
Really? You never saw
not being American,
not being from 1970s? Did you ever see that?
It was a building, you know, and then really 2 buildings, but I didn't really pay attention to it. So
famous than Empire State Building, you know, it's not like they were that famous. They were there. Some towers.
So yeah, I heard about it in work, and plane crashed into the building. Okay, so what? Then
me too.
But an hour later, there's another plane crashed into the building. I'm like, okay, something's going on.
This is something,
terrorism.
Exactly.
But you know, when it's terrorism, it's like, oh, more terrorism. You know, Belfast.
I was already.
It was only when I got home, I'm like, holy fuck.
It was a big deal. Like when I got up, the first plane had already hit, and I was brushing my teeth, and I had the radio on, and the Dr. Laura show was playing at the time because that was the state it was carrying Dr. Laura, and they interrupted her program to say a second plane hit the second tower, and I was like, oh shit, we're being attacked in a big way. And I ran upstairs, woke everybody up, and then of course the Pentagon thing was happening. Then of course the plane in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. It's like, jeez. And I kind of mark, you know how you mark your life in different stages. So you mark your life, let's say, so in my case, before marriage, after the kids. Now it's also before 9/11, after 9/11. Now it's before COVID, after COVID. It's like these big, huge things that have happened.
Gosh, she said it was my day off.
So much.
My day off when the reports started coming in.
I think I was 16, and I think being that age made it feel like it wasn't a big deal. Because when you're that age, you feel like the world is big and crazy and fast. And maybe it was just me. It's probably just me too. But it just felt like what I already expected the future would be like. So I was just kind of like, yeah, that's what happens. You know, it wasn't surprising to me, even though it was oh my gosh, this is actually happening. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it was also kind of it wasn't like aliens have invaded or something unbelievable happened. It was well, I mean, Oklahoma City was 6 years ago.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah,
that was a pretty big deal. And I remember that Timothy McVeigh was executed, I think, in 2001, shortly before I think it was the summer. I think it was the summer before. And I remember, like, I remember like that year, I think George Bush made his decision about the stem cells or something. And I remember, this was a big, huge news thing. And I remember, like, after 9/11 happened, I was like, wow, I wish we could go back to thinking it was a big deal talking about these stem cells decision he had made, because like after 9/11, it was like, oh, everything has changed. It's just never going to be the
like
same.
That's the sad part about this year. Like, there was a lot of great stuff that came out. It's just that one day kind of marked the year as like something really bad.
That's just something you associate with that entire year.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm so happy what I did, because like they weren't letting us out of school, and we were like, me and my friends, like, fuck this, we're not hanging out in school all this. So like we had cars at that time. We had just turned 16, got cars. So we like took off to go drive to my friend's house because his parents were at work, and just hang out at his house. And I remember I had Atari Teenage Riot in my CD player in the car, which is just like this noise, fucking loud noise, industrial, like, like, and I was blasting that in my car, driving down the road, like, we're in the future now, boys. Like, this shit is crazy. And then I got home, or I got to my friend's house, and it was just like such a beautiful day, 75 degrees.
Oh, it was a gorgeous day.
It was like flowers, the tree green, and we're just hanging out in the front yard. Like, guys, we're gonna be fine. Like, it's a beautiful day. I mean, that was my experience of it. Was like everyone else was freaking out, and to me, it was just like it was gonna happen at some point. Like, I wasn't gonna make it to 80 without this shit going down. Like, it just happened to happen today. So, and I remember being in high school, going to school that week, the next day, and that week, and people were like, "We're gonna join the army. Fuck the Middle East," and just it was kind of like, calm down. Like, it was embarrassing.
That was definitely a strong sentiment at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just, some people got emotional about it and some people didn't. And I was one. I was making jokes the day of. I remember, like, I was like, dude, in this war, like, we're gonna be invading them, and they're gonna be like, their weapons are gonna be hijacked planes. And they're just constantly going to be hijacked.
Their weapons always were hijacked.
Like, that's what they use. Like, the battlefield.
They were doing that long time ago,
planes crashing into tanks on the battlefield and shit. And it's like, we should who's doing airport security? We've lost 200 planes now. Like, I was cracking jokes. I was all cynical. Like, so how long until they make a movie, guys? Like, 10 years? It was 5. It was, I wasn't cynical enough. I was like, I think 10 years we'll get a movie. In 5 years, we had 2 movies. Like,
we had the one about the plane.
Yeah.
I remember I went to go see that with my husband. And I used to devour 9/11 stuff, but now it just makes me too mad and sad. I was mad and sad at the time, but now it's just like it's like such an oppressive feeling. I just can't, and I also remember that day my husband had the Spanish news on, and they don't really hide too much. Yeah. So they show a lot of stuff up close, and they were zooming in on people falling out, jumping out of the towers, but zooming in close. I remember what people were wearing. Oh. And it was just like, and I remember this woman, I never forgot, like, she had a scarf and it came off of her as she jumped. And it was floating above her. I mean, just like such a weird, just a really strange image in my brain that I can't get out of my head. But
too. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, and my brother Matt was going away to college, and my mom and dad had gone off with them, so we were separated. And of course, you're trying to call, and the towers were just like overwhelmed, and the phone service wasn't working. And it was scary because you
mean the whole, like, everything was not working right that day?
It was very difficult to get through to make phone calls. I couldn't get a hold of mom and dad. I couldn't get a hold of Mama and Papa, and it was scary because then we're hearing reports too about, well, the State Department and then the Capitol, and it was just, and you just didn't know what the heck. Well, what's going to be next? It was quite scary at the time.
I remember within hours on the news, they were, well, maybe within 6 or 8 hours, they were already being like, reports are in. We think it might be this Osama bin Laden dude. And,
you know what's, yeah, right.
And I remember being like, that was really fast. Like,
well,
did he take credit, or how did you guys already know?
Like, you know what's weird about Osama bin Laden? The Sunday before it happened, I remember Arturelia, we were at Buddy Indiana's house, and it was a Sunday morning, and they used to have this little magazine in the newspaper, the Sunday newspaper called Parade Magazine. And I like to read it because it had like little articles or whatever. And I remember there was this little tiny part inside the like the little magazine, and it was talking about how the army was dropping these matches, match cases or whatever, over the area, like either Afghanistan or something, offering a reward for turning in Osama bin Laden, or helping them capture Osama, because he was already wanted by that point. He was like on their watch list. And then like 2 days later, this happened. It was like, holy crap, that's so weird.
Yeah.
To see that in such a short amount of time. I don't know, it's just crazy. Yeah, the phone messages, and the calls from the planes, those just kill me.
Yeah, they're haunting, to be honest.
My conspiracy theory, if you guys want to hear it.
Oh dear, I've heard so many conspiracy theories about this.
Well, I made up my own because everything I've read about is stupid. I mean, not everything. I've read a lot of smart shit that proves, Tower 7 is proof enough that there's a lot of shady shit going on behind the scenes leading up to that day. But what I think is interesting in this, I constantly would look for other people who had this thought that I'd had, and I could never find it. So this is my thought, but I think I'm probably onto something.
You should write a book, Colin.
Yeah, I'm writing a book, but it's not to do with this.
But really looking to get counseled, aren't you?
I'm looking to get what? Counseled?
Canceled.
Canceled.
Man, I wish I was thinking I would be pushing that envelope all the time, because it's like I'll just be what I am, which is you three know who I am. I have a friend or two, my mom and dad. How can I be I just say what I want. So it's like my job.
Be free, fly free.
My job don't give a fuck call center shit. I have nothing don't say you have nothing to lose. You find out what you got to lose. But what I'm saying is my conspiracy theory is I was really fascinated or just curious with what would we call this? Because, growing up, I was when are we going to have our Pearl Harbor? When are we going to have our big crazy moment, And then I was thinking, what would it be referred to, after the fact? Because September 11th happened, and I remember thinking, what are we going to call this? What's going to be the lingo for the shorthand for this? And I remember also, because I was thinking that, I noticed how quickly everyone started calling it just September 11th attacks, the September 11th attacks. Just that became the default. And I was almost it's like they're just defaulting that. And then that's what we're just going to call it, I guess. And then that became 9/11, right? 9/11, that's what it is. That's how we refer to that event is 9/11. And the lizard brain, which is underneath the logical smart brain, your survival instincts, your survival, what I'm.
Yes, I know. I've referred to the lizard brain a lot over the past few years during this whole pandemic.
But you know what I mean. Not the New World Order lizard people. I'm talking about the
lizard brain, the fight or flight, the fear sort of. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's lizards among us.
It responds more to symbols than words. It's simple and dumb like that. And if you
are you thinking 911 because the emergency 911?
Exactly.
Yeah.
911 9-11. It turns those symbols, this meaning authority, emergency, police, authority, danger, terror is the same in the young people's brain that grew up in this world. So now basically it's psyops because real power is owning the brains of young people. And to me, that's what's up. people talk about all this other bullshit. They're not cynical or far thinking enough. It's psyops is what's going on in the 21st century. And to me, 9/11 is clearly a part of that because it's just make all the young people associate terror with authority. And then we control them with fear. And it's clear as day.
It's not just young people that can be controlled by fear.
Sure. No, sure. Yeah. It'll get the old, but I'm saying get them while that symbology
impressionable.
is from get them. You train both those symbols from the young age all the way up. And now it's like, so to me, it's obvious. Like it's maybe I shouldn't say obvious. That's what's going on. It's really dark, fucked up shit. And it's heading to an even more dark, fucked up world. And like, but to me, all the other conspiracy shit is not even close to how. And I know people say that, but to me, if you really see it how I do, you can do anything because I know what they know, which is that no one will listen to me. I won't change anything. I pose zero threat to them, and actually allowing people like me to just say whatever is almost better than trying to cover it up. Because it's just honestly, I would say almost 99% of people wouldn't agree with this, or even if you showed them. And so people like me, we're such a minority that we don't pose a threat. And so I'm just kind of interesting. I'm curious if they did take me out, I'd be like, whoa, you don't have a handle on this like I thought you did. You know? Because to me,
it'll be you and my mom. My mom is all into stuff. I mean, she is like hooked.
Should I play the X-Files music right now?
No, don't play.
Focus in your theory.
There's just a lot of humans are dumb, and there's a lot of just crazy shit.
Did you see what Joe said, Colin?
I know. I am probably.
No.
Based on your theory, I have one question. Can I have your dealer's number?
Yeah. It's legal here, man.
That's some fucking stoner shit.
I got my Missouri. I know it's super, and the more time that goes by, the more I'm like, I think I am just kind of. These are pipe thoughts, but there's something really dark. It's something like it feels like a cool movie. Yeah, I know this probably I'm hyping it because it feels cool, but I also do think shit is way darker than most people are.
I think there's a lot of things people
able to understand.
Yeah,
I think authority is way dumber than you give it credit for.
I think that's it. I do agree with that. That's where
there's a lot that goes on
that's the gray
from people, area. But at the same time, like you said, yeah,
that's the gray area for me because on the one hand, it's impossible that I'm one of the smartest people. Like I know for sure that there's so many people smarter than me that have power, but on the other hand, like. That also kind of shows that maybe I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but on Simon's point, yeah, a lot of people who have authority are way dumber than you would expect. Like you're kind of thinking.
Yeah, it's scary too because they're in charge.
Right, but then I do think there are people who have. I think those people actually maybe don't matter because I think there are people of power, and they just who are also smart and cunning. And they just use those other people.
Yeah.
You know, anyone who has authority that doesn't know how to use it is getting used by someone cunning. Is how I think the world works. But it's a huge gray area, right? There's so many things going on that it's hard to just narrow it down. I love that. I love getting to share my crazy ideas.
We started off on a sad and depressing note, and we're ending on one, aren't we?
Well, I did want to bring us back to one thing. Yeah,
it's exciting.
Well, I was going to say to wrap it up. Yeah, like I know that one day kind of made this year like gloomy, but if we could at least appreciate the fact that this year gave us a lot of interesting stuff. You know?
Yeah, I'm impressed with what this year put out. I really am. And I didn't expect to be as much as I was.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Peter Jackson was like, oh, fuck, when he saw the two towers fall. Knowing that was coming next, you know?
I I really thought they were going to change the title. I was like, there's no way.
I'm glad they didn't, though.
They're going to release The Two Towers.
Right. Well, because some people were thinking that was a reference to the towers.
Right. That was. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it affected it.
Yeah, it did
make 2 movies.
It did affect pop culture. Like I mentioned before, they changed. The Twin Towers were supposed to be in Metal Gear Solid 2. They took that out.
It was Spider-Man.
There was a Spider-Man game for the PS1 where he was facing a villain on top of one of the Twin Towers. That was changed.
Well, in the movie as well.
Yeah, the movie, but then they also Spider-Man, the movie Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then there was something. Oh yeah, they pushed one of Christopher Nolan's films back.
Which one?
You mentioned it. You were the one that. I don't remember what it was called.
It wasn't a Christopher Nolan. Was it a Chris? They pushed.
I thought it was another Christopher Nolan movie,
and they pushed Arnold's movie back.
Oh, maybe that was what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it did affect.
Also, what?
There was a conspiracy theory around the game Deus Ex because it was set in New York. It's kind of all about conspiracy theories and everything like that, and it didn't feature the 2 towers. It also came out slightly before 9/11.
Wow.
Well, that's just it took too much to render. That's a big couple buildings. It saves some data space.
But yeah, it did affect it a little bit, and that's why they gave Cowboy Bebop an R rating, was because of that.
Because it was about that.
Well, kind of like related to terror stuff.
A bio attack, yeah. Oh well, freaking.
No, people at the airport get to see your junk.
Yeah, no, right? Jeez. It's crazy. If you can even fly.
Find it. Sorry, that's maybe just me.
But I still look at 2001 as a really good year for pop culture.
Yeah, I mean, it has a ton of stuff. It's almost like for better or for worse. It's kind of, I feel like they're starting to see more of the corporate franchising kind of start taking over. Like maybe I'm just because I'm seeing Harry Potter.
Well, then there's also Spider-Man.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
And then next year is like Jason Bourne. Those movies started up.
But then like with Shrek,
they're not as big of a deal, but
Monsters Inc., like the Pixar, animated kids movies, like CG movies started coming in, and it felt like this was kind of the start of where it all started to feel kind of samey in a way that is not always bad, but it's a I don't know.
Like cliche, like just kind of been there, done that sort of.
It's kind of like the big Hollywood corporate studio conglomerate just started refining their thing in this decade. You see it from like 2001 to 2011.
Actually, now you mention it, I have a conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about sort of woke culture, and you were saying people really don't know how to navigate the internet. I think it's basically the corporate agenda that is driving all that. It's not so much that they are overtly promoting it. It's just the medium is the message. Because you're on these platforms, there's a tendency to align with corporate values.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could get kicked off, you could get sort of deplatformed.
Mm-hmm.
So people sort of tried to align themselves with the values that these tech giants project, even though they claim to be leftist, but like, why would sort of multinational be anything but right wing in terms of monetary policy? But yeah, that's what I think it is.
Yeah, we have a long ways to go, and who knows if we'll have time to get there. But
I felt like most things started to get really generic by the 2010s. Like once you get into the 2010s and then 2015 comes around, that's when like you kind of start to lose a bit of originality on a lot of films. Like the 2000s was probably the last decade to have like really good, decent, and mostly original. And then 2010 comes around, and it just been there, like, you know, sequels started to come out more, you know, nothing was like new.
I mean, it still exists. It's just like, it feels all in the background of the.
Yeah, like of these sequels, like, you know, Star Wars, Jurassic World, and what, like
that's always the top 10, top 20 movies. It's like the same. It's a different version of the same 10 or 20 movies that you saw the year before and the year before and the year before. But every once in a while, there'll be something that's really like different and outside the box.
Well, Guy Ritchie has impressed me. Quentin Tarantino has impressed me. Like, those two, definitely originality written all over.
Yeah.
I would go and see any of their movies.
Yeah.
I think Edgar Wright's pretty good, too. He's made an impression on me as well.
I know. I'm going to rent that movie soon. Last Night in Soho. I almost rented that.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty dang good.
Wait, what director is this again? What did he direct?
The guy who did Last Night in Soho. He also did Baby Driver.
Oh, yeah. And didn't he do something else, too? Or am I mistaken?
The Cornetto trilogy.
The
Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
I love Shaun of the Dead, but I haven't seen the other two. But
Hot Fuzz is good. The World's End, not so much.
We saw. I'm sorry. Did see The World's End. Haven't seen Hot Fuzz.
Yeah. We have that.
I like both. I like Shaun of the Dead the best.
And it has something to do with fences too. There's like a thing with him and fences.
And that show, Spaced, that was a funny show. I watched that. Mm-hmm. Isn't it Spaced with Simon Pegg? And I think Edgar Wright did that show too.
Yep.
Oh.
That's good.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever.
I think we're almost out of time. 3 hours and 55 minutes.
Yeah, we've got like less than.
We come to the last.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a really cool movie.
I've never seen that movie.
It's a cool movie.
It's
an Edgar Wright movie, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
I think you should, if you like Edgar Wright, it's different. It's another one of those movies that's kind of like, I can't really compare it to.
Kind of like they took some anime inspirations from what I've heard.
Yeah, it is an Edgar Wright film.
You should watch it. I don't think you'll regret watching it. I think it's good. It's entertaining.
Looks like it's got pretty solid.
But
rating.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to 2002. There's a lot of other big movies.
I still got to find something to tell you to watch.
Oh yeah, for 2002. Okay, so Bourne. I think Bourne came out.
Bourne Identity.
That's the only one I can think of right now off the top. I think that one was pushed. That one might have been. No, maybe they reshot or changed something because of
that. Might have been changed too.
Might have been one.
That also got Ready, Steady, Go. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Gosh, I like that music.
Gosh,
I can't wait to see
Signs, Arturo. I think Signs came out.
I like Signs a lot. I watched that a lot.
That's my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. Signs.
I'd say so.
So good.
Signs.
I
already got. I don't even have to scroll down. I got two of my all-time favorites. Although I don't know if you would like City of God.
I've heard of that one.
It's my all-time favorite movie. If I was forced to pick one, it's kind of hard to just pick one. But if I was forced to, City of God is my all-time favorite movie. And it's like it takes place in Brazil in the slums, and it's kind of like documentary style of these like kids, like teenagers, kids like selling drugs, getting into trouble, and it really feels like you're there and it's really happening. And it's a crazy.
The Ring. Arturo has seen The Ring, I think.
The Ring? No, I don't think I have.
You haven't?
No. Okay. Is that the one about the VHS? Like that they actually took that idea from I think they took that idea from a Japanese horror.
Yeah, they did. They did.
No, I have not seen
Catch Me If You Can and Minority Report are also worth watching.
I was just looking at Minority Report here.
Almost said Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, it is worth watching. But I have to put my other favorite one, Gangs in New York. Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, we got about 2 minutes before this thing automatically shuts off.
I know. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up so we don't get just cut off by the software.
Buenas noches, everyone.
Thank you to everybody
See everybody.
for joining us. And yes, Arturo needs to watch The Ring. For sure.
Watch more movies.
It's like
See you
Fatal Flash.
guys.
Watch
Have
a
a good
movie.
one.
Woohoo!
Watch a movie.
Bye.
Watch Trailer Park Boys.